and welcome back to InfiniteRP and episode 8 of the Lost City of Vedranis.
Sure.
Yep, episode 8. I can't believe we have 8 episodes already. It's pretty nuts. Hope you've all been doing well. It's good to see all of you. Let's just go around, see what everybody's been up to. Ray, let's start with you. How's your week been? What's up?
Okay. No, my week's been great. Got a lot done. I had off pretty much most of the week, so I just did some hardcore adulting, and now it's all done, and I feel great, and I'm really happy to be here.
Hell yeah. Justin, how's your week been?
It has been okay. Kind of just working, and we're like working in person again now. Like we're all back together in the same building. Yeah, did you just say "ew," Derek? That was kind of my feeling. Like anytime I see another human being, I'm just like, ew, like that. But otherwise, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Fen, Isla, how have you been? How's your week?
Oh, it's been a weird week. I've had a lot of I've been a wild pretty much most of the time this week, neglecting my real life duties. And I have and don't feel sorry for me. I've cried 3 times this week because of wild. That's more than I usually cry in a year, by the way. Just saying. Because I've discovered I can force myself to cry now, but then when I actually cry, actually I feel real emotion from it. So it's like, why did I do that?
Yeah,
yeah.
I was watching that stream, and I've watched a couple of those streams like the past week and whatnot, and good God, just heartstrings the whole time,
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing.
But
It's
that's what I've been up to, basically. Just, literally, I've been living my second life more than my first life. So
don't we all?
it's the curse of the RPer, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
totally
I
unrelatable.
don't know what that's like.
Nah. Awesome. Derek, how have you been?
I've been great. I honestly just been taking a little bit of time off of the RP swing of things, mostly because I'm playing the tiniest, saddest violin for the entirety of the crossing behind bars. But it has been a fantastic little week of just getting some side production stuff done, playing a lot of other different games I don't usually get time to go and put into, but a lot of typing in Mech Assault, because I've been loving the hell out of that. But we've been playing a lot more games like Battlefield 5 because they dropped. E3 has been just there's just so much goodness coming out of E3, so just consuming. That's mostly what I've been up to.
Hell yeah, yeah. I've seen you streaming Mech Assault. I haven't been able to tune in, but I have such nostalgic vibes for that game because I remember playing that so long ago. So, but
so good.
Yeah.
Four player co-op. You got to come play one day.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time.
I'll tempt you with a good time.
Awesome. All right. Well, before we get into the proper recap, our party has leveled up to level 4. So I just want to go around real quick and see what you guys did. If let the chat know, what you guys did as far as your level up and whatnot, and then we'll get into the right recap. So we'll just go in the same order, I guess. We'll just start with Ray and go to Justin and go in a clockwise position. Just what did you do in your level up?
Okay. Wisp acquired a feat. She now has Sentinel, which I'm really excited about. It has me do a bunch of stuff that I didn't write down, and apparently I can't find it on D&D Beyond when I click it. So if I hit somebody with an opportunity attack, their speed goes to 0. Some other cool stuff. We'll see it hopefully here soon because I'm going to try to use all of it all the time. But I also got another key point. So now I have 4 key points, which is cool. And then I also gained the ability to do slow fall as a reaction. And I think that's it.
Nice. Mm-hmm. For all the high jumps that Wisp does.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting that I didn't have slow fall at level 3, and I was like, oh, I've got this. No, I take falling damage still. So it will be nice to reduce that when I ultimately fail my checks.
Oh,
with these garbage rolls.
Nah, we'll have good rolls tonight. Awesome. I think Justin had to drop real quick. So let's just we'll kind of go over Doc until he gets back and go to Isla. What does your
Cool.
level up look like?
Well, my level up. I was very tempted to take an ASI, but I was very fortunate in my rolls, and I'm playing a wood elf, so my dex was maxed. So I figured we could get away with not. So I took the feat. Oh, where is it? It is here somewhere. I took the feat of sharpshooter. PHP 170. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage, so I can finally actually shoot at long range, which is what I wanted to do originally. Let's have a look here. I ignore half cover and 3/4 cover now with my firearms. And before I make attack with a ranged weapon, and this is the fun bit, this is basically the great weapon fighter one. I can choose to take a -5 penalty to my attack roll, but add the +10 damage.
That's
big
nasty.
ouchies.
Big ouchies. Hashtag
Big
big
ouchies.
ouchies. Pretty much.
Big
Nice.
bada boom.
Big bada boom.
Big bada boom.
Bada bing.
I la Dallas
Bada boom.
multipass.
Bada boom.
Oh,
Check
my God.
on.
Justin, what was your level up like?
Well, first I fixed my webcam, so that was something I did at level 4. So I also took a feat because that's the popular thing to do, and I took the good old-fashioned Warcaster feat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Warcaster means for one thing that I get advantage when I'm holding concentration spells. If I get hit, I get advantage on the save to keep those up, and I have a lot of concentration spells, or a few, a bunch. Some. So I figured that would come in handy. And also with Warcaster, one of my favorite things is if I want to make an attack of opportunity, I can use a spell. So if someone moves out of my range, I can fire a cantrip at them or something like that. And that's good. I also got a couple more spell slots, which is useful since I'm mostly out. So I got another 2nd level spell slot, and I added another spell and another cantrip.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Derek, what about you?
Oh, one of my pectorals grew a little bit bigger than the other
Which one? Which one?
The right one, to be more specific.
Oh,
because
that's
he favors that on the swing for his axe. So yeah, Knock is ready. Those just pointy pectorals. Anyway, so what I went ahead and did on my level 4 is I took a feat because I'm not schlub. We took feats. And I happen to go with Charger, which is I can move my at least 10 feet in a straight line immediately before taking a bonus action. I can gain +5 on my attack damage, or I can push in or shove something or someone 10 feet in a direction.
So you're a big bowling ball.
I'm a big bowling ball. That wall that I collapsed, that was just a prerequisite for the fucking feat.
That's the inspiration. Yeah.
He's the juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah, I'm the fucking juggernaut.
Amazing.
It is so much fun. That feat is
Juggernaut.
so much fun.
Also, I'd just like to note that now that one pectoral is bigger than the other, I'd like to say that his pecs are knock-sided. Just wanted to chime in with that one.
All right, I gotta go.
And that's the end of this series. So 8 episodes is pretty good.
That was very good.
DM is not pleased. One golf clap. Everybody gets one.
Yep.
One courtesy.
Thank you.
Yep. So awesome. And then you guys got like some sizable HP increases as well. So that's always a good thing for staying alive.
Yes.
Cue some BGs. But all right, let's get into an actual recap. Last we left off, you guys had a run-in with Lord Walden, the curator of dreams, the kind of ruler leader of Rick and Row. You guys engaged in combat with him and handled him pretty well, ending him with a crit from Vodder on his guiding bolt, which did like 40-something damage. It was ridiculous. You guys had a conversation with him while he was close to death, and he explained that if you kept him alive, he would get you out of the dream. But if you killed him, you would end the dream, but the residents of Rick and Row, or the residents of the dream, might not be so lucky. After considering it for a time, you guys decided, with Nock grabbing him by the scruff of the neck and throwing him in and against this warp stone that was in the center of this chamber. You guys were able to loot a little bit, but not before the dream began to dissipate and you guys found yourselves back within Rickenrow itself. You guys awoke to Calder nearing sleep, and something strange began to happen to Vodder and Nock. Some sort of repercussion, curse, we're unsure, but after leaving the dream, something happened. Vodder had a face grow on the back of his head that allows him to now detect the thoughts of others within a certain range. And Nock grew a twisted and long tongue, which now allows him to speak deep speech, a language that Calder supposedly understands as well. You guys decided to make your way back to Hallow, and were barred entry by the Sentinel statues before you could enter. It seems that Vodder and Nock are the only ones who cannot enter for some reason. Some ethereal being that looks like these Sentinels told you as much and said that you two would not be allowed to enter until you have been cleansed or whatnot, and told you that if you needed to rest, to search out a sanctuary of the Sentinels, which is an area that used to be under their protection or some sort, and to look for their symbol, which is a sword that is embedded in, or a symbol of the sword that is embedded into the keystone of an archway. Kimura and Calder went into town. Kimura learned that you guys had only been gone for about 4 hours from the town of Hallow, which was strange because you had been gone for about 11 days. Calder went and tried to shop for supplies and lureweed, which the ethereal being also told you was the way to cure this malady that Nock and Vodder have, to search for a swamp somewhere in the north of Hallow. And I think that's about where we left off, is as Calder is heading to a herbologist to see if they have any lureweed, and Kimura's kind of left with, inside the Wayfarer's spoils, and Wisp, Vodder, and Knocker outside of this city. So that is where we'll begin. So just for some shopkeeping purposes, I've written down what you guys were able to acquire and how much it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So
weed and trail mix.
Unfortunately, there is no weed. Not from the herbologist. We don't know yet from the herbologist, but from the general store, you can't buy weed.
So what you're saying is, so far, that's dried up.
Yes,
Okay.
unfortunately. So you guys were able to, I think, remind me, I think, Wisp, you gave Kimura 100 gold, and Kimura, you grabbed how much gold
And
from?
I want to change.
50.
And you want to change 50. So
Me too. I
To
also
buy-
want change.
to
The whole
buy
religion thing.
everything that you wanted, so it'd be 5 healing potions, 25 bandages, and 12 rations. It's going to be where is it? 251
Gold?
gold and 60 silver. So 200 and what is that conversion? 257 gold pieces.
Okay, we don't have 250 gold pieces. Okay, breakdown. What's causing most of the cost? I'm assuming it's the potions.
It is the healing potions. They are 50 gold apiece.
Oh, damn.
You also have a very strong, smallish vial of alcohol of some sort that you got from Lauren, that you can mark on your sheet.
Yes.
That you already paid.
Okay.
You already paid for.
So, Wisp wanted change. So, Given that's 257, I'm holding 150. We're gonna have to knock. I'm gonna knock. We're not talking about you, damn it. We're gonna leave knock behind. No, okay, to cut down the costs.
We're gonna sell knock.
We're gonna sell knock.
Nani.
Genuine moving statue. I'm gonna knock off 3 potions.
Okay, so just 2.
Just get 2, yeah.
Okay. So that would be 100 gold pieces for the pair of those. So you're looking at 107 gold.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are able to acquire that, and then you guys can divide, the everything as you wish. So, and then for the sake of the trail mix, I just counted those as the extra 2 rations, just because I think that'll just be easier for accounting purposes. But they're a little bit nicer rations than, or there's some sweets in there too for you. So
Any crawfish?
No crawfish, unfortunately. They're not the
Shame.
the
lizard
Wheel of
folk.
cheese.
the lizard folk.
That's right.
Rations,
No one in chat has any idea what I've ruined it.
No,
Context.
it's okay. Context is everything. So.
Inside jokes aren't fun.
They are, but just not for chat.
Yeah, well,
That's
especially when
great.
they're outside. Yeah, I can't have an outside joke. An inside joke outside.
Inside voice? What? So we got some rations.
Yeah, we got
You
some,
got some
rations, right?
12 to be exact. So, yeah, Calder, you sent Calder off, I believe, to the herbologist. Is there anything else that you wanted to do while you were in town?
Not really. No. Names and words and stuff. Was it Nigel? Is Nigel the map guy? Don't make that name up.
No,
Nigel.
Nigel is not the map guy. It is,
I'm so sorry.
I can't remember his name.
Oh wow.
It's
I'm
Nigel
off
now.
the hook then. I'm off the hook then, because if the DM can't remember, then
Where
I'm
is
good.
he? Where? Oh, hold on. I have it written down. It's just not where I think it's written down.
Okay. So anyway, that person,
Reggie.
Reggie.
Reggie the
it's
man.
Reginald.
It's in
But
the
his friends
same-
call him Reggie.
It's
or
in the
Reg.
same ball, but Nigel, Reggie, it's kind of okay. I would like
Yeah.
to speak to Reggie, seeing as I'm in town. Could it just help me recollect? Did we have an agreement with Reggie to help him with his map marking?
I don't think you ever made an agreement with him, but he did say he would pay you if you did map out like where you had been and your travels and whatnot to help him complete his maps.
Okay.
Because he has all the old maps of Vedranis pre-incident,
Yep.
and he just wants to. He's trying to figure out how different it is, if at all.
Okay. In that case, yeah. If there's a prospect of payment, I would like to talk to Reggie.
Okay. So yeah, you return to the Sentinel's Rest, and you see him scrawling over his maps. He's kind of reading some things, and he's kind of moving maps here and there. And he sees your approach. He's like, "Oh, hey mate, how's it going? It's good to see you back again. It hasn't been that long. It's been like 4 hours, but I mean, it's good to see you. What was your name again?
Captain Commodore Thunderthorn.
Captain Kamoro Thunderstorm. That's a great name. That it's good to see you. Well, is there something I can do for you?
There is. And last time we spoke, you said there was prospect of payment.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have ventured out beyond the walls of Hello.
You didn't get very far then, did you? No, I'm
Actu-
not saying. Sorry. Anyway.
Not that it will make sense, or it might. I don't understand this place, but we have been gone for effectively 11 days.
Oh. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, this whole place is real weird. I'm starting to get that, that vibe. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. In fact, it's beginning to get on my nerves, but I cannot help this. I have information. Maybe perhaps we can compare a map.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me And he brings out a map. He's like, show me what you got here.
I have not marked anything down. It's memory.
Okay. I'll see what we can work with. Memory is a little shady sometimes, but maybe not your memory, but I mean my memory is sometimes shady. That's why I write down everything on my maps. But yeah, tell me what you got.
Show me what you have. I will tell you if these are correct or not.
All right. So I've got this map here. So this is predated back 150 years. So a little bit older than when everything happened, but I think it's the most up-to-date record that I could find. So here, and he kind of turns the map towards you, so you can see.
Okay, so based on what I can see of where we supposedly went, how much are we looking? Is that like a roll?
So,
are we rolling or like what's how do
so
I determine?
yeah, so as far as you're looking at roads and things like that, and from what you can tell, um, the roads are pretty much line up and are very, very similar. There's not like any like jarring um, differences that you can tell. You're like, I think we followed this exact road, and you can almost trace where you went. But there's big spots of of several miles where there's like big question marks
Okay.
that he doesn't know about. So as far as like what you've traveled, you can actually trace on his map where you were and where you went.
Right. Okay. So we haven't seen anything discernibly different. And as far as these question mark spots go, did we go to any of these areas? Or
No,
we didn't.
not
Okay.
not. Mm-mm.
Okay.
So for like in game speak, what will kind of happen is he's looking for distinct differences in kind of again like maybe potentially roads and whatnot, which seem to be similar, but also just like big chunks of like points of interest, we'll say. So there are points of interest on our map that we use, and if you reach those points of interest, you can essentially take those back to Reg, and he, as long as you can like tell him and be like, this is where this is, or this is what's happening here, things like that, he will compensate for you.
Okay.
Like compensate that. It will get probably more in depth like the deeper you like go into the city, because from what you can tell and you're looking at his map of, as far as everything's drawn out from where you've been, most of the areas that you have traveled have seemingly been traveled before.
Okay.
It seems like there have been some groups that have been there. And so he's already updated that portion on his newer map of Vedranis. So like the deeper you go into these other districts, that's when he might start being able to pay you so he can like quite literally sketch out the exact routes and whatnot.
Okay. Right. In that case, Komora is just going to kind of gesture to these more unknown areas of the map, and basically say these areas here, complete unknowns.
Yeah, I don't know anything about those places.
Right then. No, these routes that we traveled seem to be fairly in check. So, and can I take a bit of a mental note of the closest question marked areas?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you can see are you can see almost the border of Hallow, Rick and Row, and the Old Croak Market.
Okay.
As far as Rick and Row is concerned, it seems like the most it seems like
Mike Tyson
where
came
it hasn't been mapped is the north and southeastern areas of Rick and Row. The biggest question mark is to almost the direct northeast of Hallow itself.
Wait, which direction of Hallow?
Sorry, north west. Sorry.
Northwest of Hallow. Okay.
Northwest, sorry. And then as far as actually, I'll just give it. I'll give you like a basic. So anything within on the map. Let me drag you over really quick.
Okay.
Anything within, I'd say, like 3 days has been mapped.
Okay.
So anything within a 3-day hex has been mapped, I'd say. Anything outside of that has not. So you can see, I'll just ping for you guys. So there is a question mark here,
Ooh,
a question
okay.
mark here,
Yeah.
a question mark here.
Right.
And
So okay. Perfect.
yeah.
The third one's where we think the bug is.
Yeah.
Not that you'd know that. Back to being outside the city with a face on the back of my head.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that I note this down because Kimura has good memory. I do not.
For, I guess, like he tells you, essentially each unexplored hex that you travel and you're able to take back to him, he will give you 5 gold pieces for each hex. For any points of interest, he will give you 25.
Ooh. Okay. Money, money, money. Now you're talking the Mercs language. 25 gold pieces for like kind of like unexplored points of interest. Yeah. Okie doke. Cool. Okay. Let's not take up too much time with this. Wonderful. Okay, so I do like a half-cocked smile at Reggie, which is about as much you can do, smile-wise. I appreciate it. If we find anything within the next 4 hours, I'll bring it to you.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this prosperous working relationship. And he kind of just smiles at you.
Okay.
There should be more of us coming here soon. I just don't know when they're going to get here. So, yeah.
Well, if the recent events are anything to go by, don't hold your breath. And with that, she leaves.
Wait, why would I not hold my breath? All right. See you.
And I'm gone.
All right. As you are exiting the Sentinel's Rest, you see Calder kind of jogging from somewhere east of Hallow, and he comes kind of jogging up to you past the statue. Look, I went in and saw the herbologist, and while she didn't have any lure weed, she did say she had some good weed, and she gave me a small sampling for free. I hope I don't know if it will help Vada's face thing or
Won't hurt.
Nox tongue, but I thought may as well,
Show me this good weed.
all right. And he has like this
Dime bag.
And that shit don't sparkle.
he has it's like a pouch that you can kind of fold up and wrap a cord around, and he brings that out and he's like, well, she gave me this not
Kimura
much in
snatches
there.
the bag from. Give that.
Right.
Here. Just maintains eye contact and unwinds the cord on the bag. Just opens the bag a little bit and sniffs.
Okay. Yeah, you sniff it and doesn't seem bad.
That guy.
Smells like
It
the
smells.
good shit.
It smells as you'd expect it to smell.
Just Kimura just backs off a little bit like. This is not going to help.
Well, then can I have it back then?
No.
She gave me a pipe and everything as well. And he kind of shows like this pipe that he has.
You can have it back when we are on downtime. She wraps it back up.
Is that not why we're here? Okay.
No, we're here as a temporary stop before we head back up.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll just keep this. That he like stores the pipe in his backpack or whatever it is.
Anything else? Did they mention anything about the Lorwyd?
No. She said she heard of some sort of like a conservatory or something like that to the north, and she said maybe that would be the place, but I'm not quite sure.
To the north. Any specific to the north, or just directly to the north?
She had just said that she had heard adventurers had seen it from a distance.
Okay. We'll stop milling about in town now. If we are done, we go.
Right. Okay. I'm ready.
Good. Let's go. She's gonna march off towards the gates.
Right. And yeah, he will. He follows in tow. While they're out and about and getting to head back out of Hallow, what are the three other intrepid adventurers up to?
It's just while they are gone out shopping and have made our small little hove, if you would, of encampment. Is this a short rest or no?
I think you guys were able to do the short rest last session.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, awesome. Well, other than getting the rests, Nock is trying to figure out exactly what is going on with the extremity of the mouth, if you would. And you see him. He's letting his tongue come out. As you see it moves, and then it comes shooting back into his mouth. And he's just this look of confusion as well as frustration. As he's like, every time it comes out, he starts saying, you start hearing that deep speech, and it goes back in. He's just trying to figure out what exactly is going on. What's the transition between regular speaking and this? And while he's doing this, he's just taking a big old rock and just chiseling out his obsidian axe, sharper with every single stroke.
I think we established, didn't we? We like found some sort of structure or building to take cover in, right? Some sort of house or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's like a few smattering of like abandoned homes that you could easily find within, like, not very far off down the road.
Okay. I think that while Nock's doing that, Vodder has found some sort of doorway or egress or something like that, and he's hung his censer, his incense burner, from like the frame of the doorway. And every time Nock starts talking in deep speech, Vodder sort of sticks his head out, and he's got his full vestments on, right? So he's got like his like religious order cloak, different than he usually wears on. He just if you keep it a little bit quieter, please. I'm trying to pray, and every time you talk in that voice, it's very creepy.
Nock's gonna respond by, as soon as he's done talking, there's one more hit onto his axe. He looks over his shoulder and the tongue just spills out of his mouth.
No, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is case in point. This is what I mean. I mean, I know you don't mean it to be creepy and mean, but I'm trying to pray. Okay. Okay.
He grabs the rock he was polishing and throws it at Vodder at his little hope.
And
So
for the time being, while this interaction is going on, Wisp will take out the materials needed to cast silence, and she's gonna put it right, like, centered on Nock. And she's just gonna look up at him after she does it because like there's like a little thing that pops out. So like as this is going on, if they decide to see it, she'll just look over to Nock and just kind of like give him like a nod, and then look towards Vodder. And then as soon as Vodder looks like he's done praying, I will dispel it as that's happening.
I think there's a bunch of false endings, kind of like songs where you think the song is over, but then it comes like fades back in or something like that.
In the entire time, so the entire time this is
That's how he
happening, I
ends,
said
perhaps.
last time, she has her manuscripts out and she is writing in 4 different colors in the 4 languages that she knows. She's writing different passages. And as she's writing with her right hand, she would stop and like put up a finger to almost dispel the silence, and then put it back down once he like continues to do like the weird song transition into another song. And then as he finally like ends it, she holds it, and then like it's dispelled, and she'll look over to him and just be like nod and kind of smile.
Yeah, I think the way that Nock prays is kind of like that person that you know where you think the conversation's over and they keep adding stuff. Right? Where it's just like
classic.
The end. And thank you for Nock. And like just like adding things for sure. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Please fix my webcam.
Which DM, a question for you. Nock, as he's speaking, and you know, the frustration is getting more and more on his head. He's trying to figure out if there's any part of his body that's emanating this deep speech. Does it come from like himself, like deep from his bowels, where this language is coming from? Or is it coming from the tongue? Is the tongue itself emanating this language? Can he differ between that? Or?
Yeah, I think it's almost like I think it's coming from your mind. So as you're speaking normally, and then like since you're still getting used to it, you might trip and just start. It's almost like you forget what you're going to say, and then you keep talking, and so you just kind of ramble, but you start speaking in that language, and then you're like, and you're able to bring it back. So it's almost like it's almost like trying to repeat a tongue twister almost for you.
Okay.
Where your mind just kind of skips a couple like words or steps or whatnot.
I'm gonna find me some demon speech. Right, meow.
I'm just picking at the face on the back of my head every once in a while.
If I look back at Vodder, and I don't want to be rude, but what does it look like again? Like with his fur and everything, does it look like him, but on the back of his head, or is it just a face? Like
it's just
is
like
it discernible at all?
Yeah, it's like almost like a very nondescript face, so you can't quite see every feature, but you can like see like a nose kind of like seem to protrude out, and if you look close enough, it's like almost like.
Is it human?
It's tough to say. It looks like
it just looks like a face, but like the nose and stuff is just kind of like an amorphous nose.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I was trying to figure out how distinct is this face on him?
Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to point out any like specific details.
Okay.
I'd say.
Do I notice Wisp staring?
She would.
Would she try to hide it?
She would try hard to hide it, but she also is very bad at like social cues, and it's probably looking way worse than she's trying to make it. So yeah, like you would definitely notice.
Very stealthy, but also obvious.
Yes. She thinks she's being stealthy, but to everyone else, she's not at all.
Right.
But yeah, no, she's definitely like trying to figure it out, because it doesn't make sense. And then like every so often she'll look over to Nock, who's like has this tongue, and she just like she's caught in just trying to be that person in the moment, like that good person. She's like, I didn't want to leave them here because they can't excuse this without somebody who's also not afflicted. So like she's like, I'm just here to make sure that they're okay. So she's just kind of like looking around, but she does look around to see if anybody is coming or going and staring at us.
Okay.
Specifically.
Yeah, there's no foot traffic
Okay.
here.
Perfect.
You just have the guards or whoever is up on top, and they've kind of like stopped paying any mind to you.
Okay.
The statues are still there. They have not moved. But yeah, I can almost just imagine like Wisp turning to look at Vauder, who's like maybe doing this every once in a while in between prayers, and then turns to look at Nog, who's like, blah, 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 and all of a sudden like I was,
Yeah, because
goes
after she's done
silent.
with her like manuscript, she's just like stretching. She's just kind of like sitting around. She'll probably try to like do a meditation, but like she's just kind of hanging around, unless somebody seems to be approaching or threatening at the moment. She thinks this is a quick trip. She has no idea how long it's actually going to take her to do any of this shopping.
Right. Okay. And I'd say, yeah, you're not gone. It's not super long. It's maybe not even like maybe an hour. So it's just like right around where a short rest would take place when Kimura and Calder do inevitably return.
Good to see you back.
Aye.
We have returned with provisions.
Did you find
All at
Stop
once.
it!
Like I said, stop talking, please.
He says, did you bring any good food?
Still freaks me out that you can understand that. I don't like it.
Sorry.
I have brought provisions. They manufactured this trail mix.
Well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't. You've got to make it and put all the things together. It doesn't grow out of the ground. You manufacture. They cook. They make it. It's called trail mix, not trail is.
They had none in stock, so they made some special. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, good. Oh, I appreciate it. That's good. Yummy.
Oh
Thank
man.
you.
And we didn't find lure weed, but we did find good weed.
Ay, why did you tell them?
He says he wants some right now, but I shouldn't have told them.
No, you should not have.
We didn't. I lied. I'm so sorry. I lied. We didn't actually find it. No, it was a joke. It was we didn't find any good weed. We didn't find any weed at all. I don't even know what weed is. Sorry.
I have currently the possession of the good weed.
Nox starts standing up, walking over to Kimura.
Kimura puts a hand up, like, now is not the time.
I sit back down. Nox goes ahead and puts his hand out like for food.
He says he's hungry, and he said now.
She pulls out some of the rations and just kind of places them on what I imagine a hand like twice as large as Kimura's, just into the hand. Yeah. Yeah.
Nox opens his mouth, the tongue just starts like to wrap around the food and start pulling it into his mouth. He chews with disdain.
Angry chewing.
No amount of good weed is going to cure that, I think.
Okay.
So you probably shouldn't have any, is what Captain Kimura is saying.
So
Do not speak for me. That's not what I was saying. God damn it.
She's cool.
That's what I was saying.
She likes to party.
He kind of looked.
I'm done with the kids. I can be cool.
I I think I know for a fact that Captain Kimura does not like to party.
Stop talking for me. It's weird.
I mean, sorry, Captain.
Listen, I can get low when the opportunity requires. But other than that, I get medium.
I understand her less than I understand Knock right now.
I would have said get high, but that also would be inappropriate right now.
Not now.
Not now.
We all know that I'm the one who parties. And like Wisp just kind of like raises
You're
her
basically
hand.
made out of smoke. I mean, come on.
Just all the cigarette smoke above the club. She's just dancing around up there. She's like, I got my own dance floor.
Right. Well, I am glad your spirits are high, considering. So everybody's
That
happy
reminds
now
me.
that we...
It might
Go
be insensitive, Captain Kimura. Are you a wood elf? Or are you a high elf?
I think it. Never mind. I won't say anything. I'm
I'm
sorry.
I'm not laughing in character. I'm not laughing in character. I just
Good.
found that very funny.
I imagine she's glaring in character.
Very funny. Shut up.
I'm just asking because my order, my monastic order, they were all elves and they were all wood elves. But they still like to party.
I'm a wood elf.
Okay. Do you know Martin?
Oh yeah, Martin. Pine Martin. Yeah.
Okay.
God damn it. No, I don't know who Martin is. At least not your specific Martin.
It's like when someone says they're from New York and you say, "Oh, do you know Steve?"
Yeah, sure, Steve. Yeah, just.
Yeah, the guy that plays the trumpet down on the 4th and 15th. Yeah, that guy, yeah.
Do you mean Subway
Makes-
Steve or Fifth Avenue Steve? Like...
Makes a mean hoagie.
Oh boy. Oh
Okay,
boy.
Right.
All right, I got a face grin out of the back of my head. Let's get moving.
If you are
so-
rested, then we can go.
I'm ready. Balloon has heeded my prayers, and so I have a limited supply of power until we can find one of these sanctuary places
Right.
for a rest.
Knock eats the rest of the food that's in the rations in his hands as he just is like rubbing it on his face, and he stands up, takes a deep breath. When are we?
Common, use common.
I look at Calder.
He says, "When are we leaving?"
And he knock nods in approval as he looks at Calder and then looks back at Gamora.
Gamora sarcastically looks at the sky and then kind of pretends to make calculations and then. Now.
I'll leave.
Yeah, Knock shakes his
It
head.
was all five of
Goes
us.
grabs his axe, puts it over the back of his shoulders. Just nodding.
Okay, so we have to find one of these sanctuaries. Captain, did you talk to Reggie?
I spoke
map
to
guy.
Reggie. I did.
Does he know where one of the sanctuaries is?
No.
Oh,
He did not mention anything about the sanctuary.
maybe he hasn't found one yet.
Though he did mention some areas of which he was not aware of. Which I would imagine if the Sentinels have been setting up special places since then, and these maps are 100 and something years old, then perhaps one of these mystery areas might be a sanctuary.
Okay. Yeah,
We
that's
need to
good.
head north, so potentially maybe we can find something in that direction.
I just don't want to stumble across that big centipede. Because, I mean, we could probably take him, but, I don't have the good stuff.
Big shit-eating grin just goes ahead and emerges on Nock's face as soon as he mentions the centipede. Nock grabs his shoulder with the other hand and just kind of nods in the sense of like, we got this. Like, don't worry about it.
I am reassured.
This is good point. You might be down on power, but we do have a Nock.
We do. That's good.
You can still swing an axe, yes?
No. mm. Mm.
And we will be fine.
Captain, if you talk to the cartographer, you should tell us which way to go.
Right. Okay, so Cole, from what I remember, there are mystery areas this way, that way, and this way. Okay, north. From what I saw on the map, it was northeast. Although for some reason I've got northwest of Hallow. I've got a northwest of Hallow, and then a north and southeast areas of Rickon are also mystery areas. But I also saw you ping a northeast of the Hallow gates.
Yes.
Well. Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. I think Kimura's going to think about this for a second. She's really going to ponder. And then she's going to say, we should try northeast.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Potentially a bad player decision, but yeah.
Hey Cole, before we strike out to the northeast,
Mhm.
DM, on hunger, thirst, and tiredness, how are we?
So, you should be, I believe, at okay on everything, but fatigue,
Okay.
I think.
Fatigue, you think we're tired, maybe? Or like one
Yeah,
person?
I think you'd be tired. Yeah.
All right. And the other thing I want to mention is there's this mechanic stress.
Yes.
And is there a specific way to relieve that or address that maybe once we're back in Hallow?
Yeah, so you can address stress in multiple ways. Let me just get it pulled up. One of them is by accomplishing tasks, potentially finding where you want to go and things like that. You can relieve some stress. At the end of a long rest, all your stress goes back to 0. That is the other way to relieve some stress.
Cool.
And how's our fatigue at the moment?
You should be at tired.
Tired, cool, yeah. I am there. Cool.
Let's go.
Let's ride.
All right. So we can transition over to the map, and whoever is in the lead and wants to control the token, you're free to move.
Okay, so we go directly northeast. So would we be going into a dark area here?
That is up to you which way you want to go. So the hexes are kind of, to get to directly northeast, you have to go into one of the two hexes,
Go up
essentially.
and then across.
Or like northeast and then up.
Okay,
The
yeah,
way
I'm
the
gonna
hexes
go
are oriented.
directly northeast then. So not that top flat bit, but that first kind of. So there.
Okay, so it would be down right here.
Oh, okay.
It should be. It should snap you to the grid, I believe.
Yeah, I thought it was. I did a directional movement, so.
Yeah, so
Strange.
I don't know why I didn't snap to the grid, but that's okay. So yeah, you get there, and yeah, you travel for the next day because each hex is a day. We find where you mark off your rations. And do you guys want to split up those rations that you got between each other?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just
how
so
many
people know.
how many were purchased?
12.
Okay, so divided by
So-
5.
All of them go to Nock.
Well, Nock's already eaten one,
He's a hungry boy.
so we've technically got 11 left.
So that's like 2 each, and then 1 left over if we're counting Calder, which Vodder would be.
Yeah. So you guys left past dawn, so I'd say you'd already eaten. So essentially, you will at noon when you stop, you would mark 1 on your fatigue, and then at the end of the day, which will say, this is the end of the day, you would add 1 to your hunger, 1 to your thirst, and 1 to your fatigue.
Okay, 1 to hunger, 1 to thirst.
So it would be 2 fatigue and 1 hunger and thirst.
Okey-doke. So parched, peckish, and sleepy. Worship.
See?
I could eat.
I could eat. Okay. Gruta.
Good.
And then if there's anything you guys want to do, as far as any interactions during the day, you guys travel into the Old Krog Market once again, and early on you do see the familiar white chalk or paint X's on many of these homes. It's a familiar sight that you have seen in much of your time here in Vedranis. You also do see crows flying around.
Don't shoot them.
Sitting on lampposts and things like that. They do caw at you, but they leave you alone for the most part.
I think Vodder would be scanning for any movement that's larger than a crow, specifically for chirurgeons.
Okay.
And so he'd just be like, but he's also exhausted, so he'd do it at disadvantage if he's going to make some sort of check.
Okay. I'll say that you, as you kind of keeping an eye out throughout the day and whatnot, and you don't see any signs of any chirurgeon.
Good.
Luckily.
Those guys were mean.
Unfortunately, we could have been on better terms with them.
Well, they kidnapping children. It's not okay. It's not okay. I mean, someday I want to go to where they are and get to the bottom of it.
No, of course, but we could have dispatched without witnesses, and therefore they could not have reported back.
Yeah.
We're most likely on their shit list.
Yeah. Maybe.
Kimura briefly glares at Nog. Very briefly, like shoots him like a sharp look.
Vodder smiles at Calder for no reason.
He, as you look at Calder, he's reading that book, and he's getting pretty he's probably halfway through it, and he kind of.
Calder, don't read and walk at the same time. You're gonna bump into something.
But I haven't yet.
Knock full stops.
We all run into Knock.
Ow.
Knock looks fine. He's right.
I can keep my eyes on the book and where I'm walking. Thank you very much.
It's like we've got a teenager with us.
And that's why I took his good weed.
Speaking of which, when we stop for the night,
Yes?
can we have some?
Please, Mom, please.
Can we?
Can I have some
Molly?
more? Please, Chef.
Please, Mom, just one hit of the bone.
Can I have another? Please.
No.
Mommy, can we take it? You can light it.
Now, you know what happens when you do that too much.
This is ridiculous.
You won't sleep for hours and then you'll cry. Right, okay. Yeah, sure. Whatever.
All right, and he puts the book away and kind of starts walking without reading this time around.
But only if you behave.
I feel like I've done pretty well today so far.
Kimura's actually hiding a laugh because she knows she's just fucking around at the moment.
Mm. All right. Keep moving, yes.
So yeah, what I will say is, so you can, if you want to mark off a ration, you can go back down 1 on your hunger and thirst, and then
How many rations did we get?
it was 12 total.
Two each,
We got 2 each.
with 1 extra for emergencies.
Okay, because I still had some left over, so I have 3. Cool.
Cool. And then what I am just learning, if you have a good night's sleep that's undisturbed, you get -3 fatigue. So tonight is one of those nights. So you do get -3 of,
Sad.
yeah, you guys do get -3.
So we're not. We don't have a level of exhaustion anymore, then, right? Or do we still have that until we go back and do like the rest?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so Vodder and Wisp do, because you failed your checks. Nock has 2, I believe, because he Fury raged during that battle and then came out of the dream and was exhausted. So he has 2 exhaustion. So Nock is actually, you're probably pretty, tired. So you have disadvantage on skill checks and attack in attack rolls, I believe. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
All right. With that day gone, like I said, if there's at any time you guys want to do anything, say anything during your travels, you're more
before
than welcome
bed. Before bed, well, Calder reads his book, and we all partake in the good.
Yeah, we have to partake.
As we're probably circling up, Wisp is going to uncomfortably go up to Kimura and just kind of go, "Was there change?"
Good weed and change.
I just wanted to know.
There is change. That.
Okay.
I'm just double checking how much change there was. Hold on. And I hold out a coin purse.
Cool. We'll figure that out later.
Oh, it's 43 gold.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That should have been the title for the episode.
Well, puff, puff, pass.
No, good weed and change.
Good weed and change.
Good weed and change. Goddamn biblical.
I now have 43 gold. Okay, I now own 48 gold.
So we're all sitting around the fire. Nock says, puts his hands out and says, "Give weed."
And he kind of he wants to retort, and he looks at Nock. He's like, I just want to say that I'm the one who got it first.
He's the weed guy. He's the guy. And puts his hand out again.
Is it to Kimura or to?
To whoever has the weed.
Right. She just kind of reaches back, slight annoyance on her face, and just tosses it over to him.
He takes the contents of the weed, dumps the bag, and you just see him go in between his hands.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to rage first before you do that?
Who has pipe or papers?
He's trying to fight back the tongue that is trying to shoot out of his mouth. He's like,
Wisp will dig out one of her manuscript papers and hand it to him, just kind of in a questioning look. Like she doesn't know what that means, but she does have a long, kind of somewhat thin, almost like a memo pad, some paper. She just hands you a strip.
Calder pulls out his pipe that he got that day.
So Nock then takes a little bit out of the pile that he decimated in between his big rock hands and just puts a little inside of Calder's pipe. grabs a paper from Wisp and then puts the entirety of the contents of what's grinded up in his hands inside the paper, and like squishes the. It's a lot. It's a whole thing of it, and just.
As you're doing this, can you just give Calder a little bit? In your head, you hear, "You will regret this."
Knock gets to the end of the joint and stops with his tongue. Rolls it, and then passes it over towards water.
Pressure me. Look.
Light it. Light this. And hand it to him.
Okay. How do I? Okay.
And he just sort of like takes his tinderbox out, and he's sort of, starts a little spark in the fire, and he lights it, and then he coughs everywhere like a big doofus, and hacks up a lung.
Knock just nods in approval and says, deep.
He does not inhale. Water does not inhale.
I believe in you, Water. You can do it. As he takes he starts.
I feel like I need to make a wisdom save or something like that for peer pressure. Or
That's up to you.
what's the save for peer pressure?
I think wisdom's probably pretty good.
That's Constitution, I think.
Is it
is,
Constitution?
again,
Well, if you inhale, it's constant. I'm gonna do. Oh shoot! All right.
Is he
just
weak in
takes a
mind or
dra-
is he weak in body? That's what you got to figure out. Is the
That's a good
is the
question.
peer pressure a physical peer pressure or is it a mental peer pressure?
Big man, big rock man hands
It
you
is a big
joint.
rock man.
Big gruff man hands you the biggest thing you've ever seen.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm not even gonna roll. He just sort of takes a drag off of this sacred magic cigarette and and inhales it. And then looks back and forth. Who's on the other side of him? Who's next to him?
I think it would be Wisp.
Yeah, I think so. He would hand it over to Wisp, and he's like,
She'll follow along. She'll just kind of like hold it for a second. I remember the one that had the pipe, like a tube. I don't think this is the same thing. And she'll take a puff and hand it on over to Kimura, who I guess is on the other, like I'm guessing somewhere in the other side where she is. So she'll kind of like try and like hand it to you to see if you're interested.
Like a tube.
She takes it
Mhm.
and she looks at it for a moment. And then just passes it along.
I think it would go to Knock because Calder's probably next to Kimura, and he's like, kind of.
Knock looks at Kimura and like he just say it's giant, like furrow browed. Puff, pass. Puff, 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 until it's gone.
He is right, Captain. You gotta puff.
Is it being handed back to me?
Yes, Knock has gone ahead and has it fully extended out to you. He says, "Herbal hospitality." One team, one mind.
I think at this point it's like everybody, like the whole world is kind of in slow motion and Wisp is just like kind of like staring, but her eyes are a little bit wider than usual.
so you can see like how full and milky white they are. Like you can't really discern her irises, but in this moment you can, because her eyes, she's just like seeing what Kimura is gonna do in this, like, because she doesn't understand the culture of like what is going on. She's ignorant to what is really happening. But when he says that, she's like, oh, there's meaning. Like she's like waiting to see if Kimura is going to basically like impose upon Nock. Like this is a big moment, and she's just gonna get really wide-eyed in her stony state.
Consider it this way. More for you. Puff, puff, I pass. And she passes it along.
Nock takes back the joint, looks over towards Calder.
He holds up his pipe. Thank you, but I should be fine. Does anyone
He's a pro.
know where the trail mix is?
And like smash cut to Vodder, who has like a handful of trail mix.
Here.
He holds out the bag.
Thanks. And he like opens the pouch and is kind of like, he starts picking out like the like small pieces of chocolate that are in there and just eats only the small pieces of chocolate.
That
What an
bastard.
asshole!
That fucking
What an
piece of-
asshole! We're sacrificing
Everyone
him
in the
next
party
time.
notices immediately.
Well, sorry. And he hands it to like Nock or whoever's next to him. I only took a couple. I don't like everything else that's in there.
It's okay.
You are picky. Grabs a joint. You see, but like the joint's like, you see like the smell. It's like a cartoon cigar that's like mostly because it becomes ash. As he takes like double the drag for both of the two that are right next to him. Passes it to Wisp.
Well, one of your pectoral muscles are bigger than the other now, and it looks weird. He like recoils as you give him this glare.
Wow.
So,
At this point, Wisp takes another hit and just passes it to Vodder. And I feel like she's standing right next to Vodder at this point, and they're watching this happen.
so
Vodder's jaw is hanging open.
I pass the trail mix to my left, and I want to kind of just like get up, like Nock moves over to his knees and like leans over over Calder, and with his right pectoral, he just makes it like a pectoral dance and makes it flex. Just wants to rub up against his face, so he's just like,
Oh, why?
This is what a man feels like.
and then he goes, "You're." In the deep speech, he says, "You're just a boy." So it's like, as he sits back down, grabs a trail mix, and starts eating it by the handful.
Well, kind of like wipes his face. Well, that was good to you too. And he says, he says something kind of vulgar to you in deep speech.
And can I understand? I can't understand. I can only speak it. I'm guessing yes.
No, you can understand it.
I can understand. That's even worse. What does he say?
Probably something along the lines of, it's not well fuck you and the horse you came in on, but it's like, well fuck you and your weirdly shaped pectoral muscle or something like that.
Okay.
Which, incidentally, is a common insult in deep speech.
Oh, indeed.
It's just coincidence.
Just coincidence. Nock just kind of just shrugs it and like laughs into the air and whatnot, and then he like leans back a little bit, right? Feeling the full wave of the hit that he just took. He's like, he puts a piece of one of like the raisins on the trail mix. He goes, butter, butter.
What?
Oh, and then he flicks it. Bow! And it shoots off. Oh, shoot one out of water.
I catch it in my mouth.
Can you make a dexterity?
Yes, I can.
We're not. Yeah. So make. Yeah. For, oh my god. I need Knock to make a improvised dexterity check. So I'd say you don't get your proficiency. So just and you're at disadvantage because you're exhausted. So just roll a d20 plus your dexterity.
Those are some really, really tired nipples, man, and pectoral muscles. Hold on.
Now, would you like me to roll a sleight of mouth check?
Depending on this roll, we'll see if it reaches you or not.
Oh my god!
My god.
Learn how to forward slash nerd.
Yeah. Type much?
Oh.
Boom plus 16 plus 1.
Expertly, you see the piece of raisin or whatever come flying at you. Yeah, go ahead and make a dexterity check to catch it.
Sure.
I mean,
I'm at disadvantage.
You are at disadvantage. It hits your forehead.
Oh, not good. There's a disappointment grunt from him and whatnot, and he just goes back to eating the trail mix and
I
whatnot.
eat it off the floor anyway.
While this is going on, very quickly, Wisp has gotten kind of like up, and she's kind of like moved away from the group. And I can only cast Levitate once a day, so we're gonna do it. She's gonna sit in like a monk state, and she's gonna cast Levitate on her.
Oh no!
No, don't cast Levitate! Don't do it!
She cast invisibility instead.
And darkness.
And
And then just disappear. I'm just gonna disappear apparently. I'm just gonna hover. Wisp is just gonna hover in her monk state like 1.5 feet off the ground, and she's just gonna kind of like be there just meditating and kind of vibing, and she's gonna be like hypersensitive, like listening to the conversation. She's just like smiling. She looks very at peace, but she's just gonna levitate in the air and just see how it feels.
Hey, Cole.
Yeah.
DM, with this face in the back of my head, I can cast Detect Thoughts, right?
Yeah.
I want to detect Kimura's thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Vadar's just like staring at her blankly, trying to pry into her mind just to see what she's thinking about.
Okay. So I think it's your surface thoughts, I believe, Kimura. Yeah. So I will allow you to either tell the class, or you can PM Justin.
Okay.
Well, I think it is a save.
Is there a save?
I believe, yeah, a wisdom save.
Okay.
So, it would be a wisdom save of 14.
Whiz. Biz.
At disadvantage because you're exhausted.
Ooh, doesn't
Wait, no,
matter
is she
anyway, 'cause
exhausted?
the
I
first
don't think she. Kimura is not exhausted.
I'm
but...
not exhausted.
But a 6 is a 6, as they
6
say.
is a 6. Even if I had disadvantage, it doesn't really matter how bad that's getting. So yes, I got a 6.
So you can either send that to me if you want, but Vadar just wants to know, like, she's a mystery to him.
I am happy to share with the class.
Okay.
Cool, right. So, Kimura is actually staring into... We have a fire going, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
She's staring into the fire, sitting on whatever, and she's actually fiddling with her handgun. She's kind of popping it open, spinning the chamber, and then flipping it back up, just repeatedly doing that, whilst literally just staring, very 1,000-yard starey into the fire, sort of thing. And you hear, I do not care for traditions. There's a reason I left all of that behind. Why did they have to offer it to me? It would have been easier if I just pretended I didn't have it. At least if I keep the drink with me, I'll be tempted to not use it. Controls are important. They're important.
All right. And I think with that, as maybe the rest of the night passes on, as everybody who has partook inevitably gets hit with a wave of sleep, you guys pass out into a very surprisingly comfortable sleep within the streets of Vedranis, and that's where we'll take our break. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. That was a little different, but we're here for it. Thank you for spending the evening with us while the characters get a little bit of relief. It is the relief episode, as has been said. So we will be back in 7 to 10 minutes. Grab a drink, grab a snack, use the facilities, and we'll see you in just a little bit. Thanks, guys. See you in a bit. And welcome back. So you guys wake up the next morning, and you guys are able to, at dawn when you guys wake up, and you'll mark 1 hunger and 1 thirst on your condition tracker.
Is fatigue any better? Like we go up from where we were by 1 or no?
So you would have gone down by 3 since you guys got a good night's rest.
Okay, so I'm well rested then.
When you
Yeah.
say
Well
down,
rested.
you mean improved, right?
Yeah,
Because-
sorry.
yeah.
I think
For
on
us,
the
down is bad and up is I don't know
Yeah.
on the
Oh.
cheat.
it
yeah.
will improve by 3. That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so we're still peckish and parched.
Yeah, because you have to
Rested.
wake up and eat and whatnot.
Okay.
It's kind of weird because you get +2 hunger, or you get +1 hunger, +1 thirst twice a day, but rations cover a full day. So essentially, it's going to be like that until you mark off a ration, and then it will go down by 1. So it's almost like rations take up 2, but I don't want to do that because they're actually kind of encumbering, surprisingly, like rations are. So like I said, you can mark those off as needed. I don't think it'll start mattering until if you run out of rations,
Okay.
run out of food. So, but like I said, you guys are able to do your morning rituals and whatnot. Is there anything specific that you guys are wanting to do in the morning before you set off?
One thing Vader was thinking of doing, and he probably forgot to do it last night. Like his idea probably fell along the wayside. But he wants to read through Adrian's journal when he can, because he's still carrying that with him.
Okay.
And just sort of he can gain any insight into what happened in the city. I mean, they kind of like figured out what happened with the dream world and stuff, but see if there's anything else interesting he can pick up from it, or just for reading out of respect for the dead. He wants to honor his memory.
Right. Okay. So as you begin reading,
By reading his personal thoughts.
Right. It's a pretty like he seemed to keep a pretty good history of his life, and so it dates back many years. So like the first thing that you remember, or the first thing you read is it's about the birth of his child back 100 I don't know, 125 years ago is what the date would have been. So essentially 25 years prior to Vedranis disappearing. You read that during this time, his wife died in childbirth, giving birth to this child. But kind of what he did is named this child in his wife's memory, and it's a name you recognize, actually. Well, yeah, it is a name that you would recognize. The name is Jassy, Jassi. As you read that name, it takes you back to when you met the Waking Wanderers. That was a name of one of the Waking Wanderers that was mentioned, who was with the leader. They were looking. It wasn't the younger, it wasn't the younger boy who like went and was trying to shake Wisp. It was the one who was kind of stoically watching over the group of you while the other wanderers were kind of doing a thing.
Interesting.
You continue to read, and you kind of flip through. There's not much. It's talking about, it's pretty normal stuff about, trying to raise this child as they grow into adulthood, and kind of all the strifes and whatnot of a single parent raising a child. And then it seems like the child had a somewhat late of a rebellious phase and ran off a couple years prior to the events of what happened, and hadn't heard from them since. You then read about the day of, essentially, and you can get like a specific day and month that it happened. He recounts some things that he had told you before. He remembers seeing what appeared to be shooting stars, hundreds of, dozens of shooting stars falling from the sky. He talks about Lord Walden in great detail. As they appeared, as you read, you can tell that they are actually of similar age, which is maybe news to you, considering how much older Aedrid looked than Walden, but they were actually very close companions. It tells about Walden and how he came from the Noble District, which is to the northeast of Vedranis, and how he would come and help those in Rick and Row take part in food banks, and eventually moved into the city, into a manor. It then recounts the poisoning of the wells and people dying by drinking of the water, as a character named Leovold the Craven and his agents had poisoned the well, something you are heard about and are familiar with. And it just recounts kind of Walden's fall from grace almost. And how, despite almost knowing where the direction Walden was going, that Aedrid followed Walden into the dream once it was created, once the city disappeared or whatever. And it when describing what happened, that's where it gets muddled and confused, because it almost acts as if nothing happened, but he recounts the sky changing and seeing stars in places they shouldn't be, stars that he didn't know existed, until eventually he could no longer see the sky. He could no longer see the stars, as this brackish kind of cloud and smog almost covered the city. and then recounts that how he was able to escape the dream by essentially getting Walden so drunk that he passed out to where he was able to go and steal a piece of this warp stone under great stress and danger, and it almost cost him his life. But the urge to escape and try to find his child were kind of paramount. And then, it kind of progresses on with that, where he moved to the old Croak Market to hide from the sleepers who he thought were after him. And then that's about what you're kind of able to read in your day or so, or mornings and whatnot.
Wow, that's a bummer. It's not a very happy story.
That's all I'd be doing.
Okay.
What time of day is this?
So it's still technically morning, if you wanted to do anything in the morning.
Yeah. Wisp, upon seeing just kind of everybody keeping to themselves, she'll take out the cloak that she took off of scumbag McWienerface.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Definitely was his name.
He was a terrible person. Lord Walden.
Scumbag McWiener face.
Scumbag McWienerface. No, yeah. So I'll take out the cloak and just kind of inspect it, see what it's about. I don't know. Yes, it will require attunement. Is that a short rest or a long rest?
Short rest,
Okay.
I believe.
Then I'll just spend as much time. It doesn't matter if it ends up being a short or a long rest. She'll just start to kind of see what it's about, figure out what it is, try it on, see if it looks good.
Okay. I would say if you wake up early enough, you probably would have time to attune to it.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, she'll spend the morning doing that.
Okay. So essentially, do you want to tell everybody what it is as you attune to it?
Sure. It says, this cloak once belonged to Lord Walden, the curator of dreams. It has no discernible color, but changes color to fit the wearer's image. While you wear this cloak, it projects an illusion that makes you appear to be standing in a place near your actual location, causing any creature to have disadvantage on attack rolls against you. If you take damage, the property ceases to function until the start of your next turn. This property is suppressed while you are incapacitated, restrained, or otherwise unable to move. So it can help me do cool, dope monk shit.
Yeah. And I guess maybe even a more important question is, what color does it take as you put it on?
Ooh.
Like, what form does it take?
It's definitely like, almost like her cowl that she has that she can hide her hair in. It's very similar, but it's going to sit underneath that. And it's going to be this very kind of lightweight, but still very beautifully deep kind of charcoal black color. And it's going to be short. It goes to like the middle of her back. It's just kind of like a little throw over cloak.
Okay.
But it's super kind of like, it just shrinks and forms to hold her shoulders.
Awesome. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
She's just the coolest.
Awesome. Okay. Well, and so you guys are able to continue on your journey to wherever that may be. I know Isla is not around at the moment. She was controlling it.
I'm in charge now.
Yes.
I'm the
going
captain
north,
now.
right?
Look at me.
Imagine him going over to Calder and doing that.
Look at me.
Look at me.
I'm
Look
the
at
captain
me.
now.
I am the captain now.
It's King Julian back again. I am the captain now.
I am King Julian and I am the captain now.
Oh my god.
Where are you, Maurice?
Isla, are you back?
Isla, please come back. We need you.
Oh, King Julian.
We go north.
No. I think Isla's back. I just can't hear her. I don't know.
Oh
if
my
you're
god.
muted.
Maurice is so nice.
So good. Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Is Kimura still taking the lead?
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna go straight up. We're gonna go straight up from here.
Okay.
Yes. If my recollection of our direction is correction, then we go that way.
So another day passes uneventfully, unfortunately. You guys are able to mark off your rations, mark off your fatigue. It's another night in the very much abandoned district of the Old Crook Market. You still find those white X's marked on pretty much every door. And the crows still seem to pop up and creep up. Whenever there's a potentially silent moment, there's always a couple calls of a crow.
Any sign of that archway or anything like that?
Nothing so far.
While we're walking, can Wisp go up to Kimura and just kind of like, do you have your rifle on your back? Do you have your guns like on you?
Yeah, I am very. From what you might have been able to tell, she's very protective of him. So yeah, she'll pretty much always be within arm's reach or have it on her.
Okay. Wisp will kind of just like look at whichever gun is probably most prominent, and then like look at you and. Did you build it yourself?
I didn't build it, but I did design it.
So, it's one of a kind. Yes?
This one? Mm-hmm.
And the other?
This one. This is one of a kind. The idea of what it is not unique. Though, my designs, I like to tinker. I like to improve. I'm always finding new ways to efficiently win.
And you've done this for how long now?
War? A long time. Firearms, I would say, give or take, 25 years.
What made you interested in war, in guns?
My people are... They like magic. I'm Elven, you know? It's kind of our thing, but... I couldn't quite grasp it. So, I took to the bow. Naturally. We like those two. From there I regressed. I fell in love with the crossbow. It's something about it. It's mechanical. It's advanced. And I wanted to know if I could push it past that. So, I worked with some people. Nomish. And they helped me create something. Something that takes the power of the bow, condenses it down, and increases its power, whilst giving it a terrifying signature scream. In war, morale is important. And when these things are firing on your side, well, you get the picture.
What is war like? Pardon my ignorance.
The Depending on who you ask.
Knox snickers a little.
Depending on who you ask, some would say it's a necessity. Others would say it is simply a game that the rich and elite like to play, with the soldiers being their pieces on the chessboard. But in truth, it is not a game. It turns families against each other, and it destroys history. But for someone like myself, arguably, war is profit. There will always be wars, so there will always be a side to fight for.
And what about the self? Who fights for the self?
Myself or the self?
Any self. What happens to everybody in between? The two
Unfortunately,
sides.
War does not care. It's a beast of consumption. It ravages. It does not care for those in between. It's unfortunate, admittedly. And those fighting on those wars think they can make a difference. You'll be hard-pressed to persuade them otherwise, especially the glory seekers.
I suppose I'm just used to a different war.
What kind of war have you waged?
War with self. Over self. I don't know how to explain it.
You don't need to. I get it.
She'll like look. She's been avoiding eye contact this whole time. And she'll kind of like look up from the ground and like look at her in such a way as to like, she's never like heard that before. And she'll just immediately like go back to looking at the ground and just kind of like drowse off. She doesn't know how to respond.
But I guess in the grand scheme of things, war with oneself is in the background. Nobody sees it. It's not a war that people witness, is it?
No.
And
But-
go on.
It's where my people came from. It's where we were born. And that's where we find purpose. Different war. I guess we all end up in the same place.
I suppose.
And she'll just kind of walk off a little way.
Kimura will clutch at one part of her overcoat, which is where the alcohol bottle's actually sitting, before kind of just composing herself again and then continuing on.
Okay. So you guys continue as you keep an eye on Calder. He's still buried in the book. It'll kind of look up occasionally and kind of go back down. He's making his way through it and seems very, very engrossed and everything. So
What a nerd.
he's a fucking nerd. He is.
We all start yelling at Calder. No.
Yeah. If there was nothing else, feel free to interrupt if you wanted to do anything else. But then the day of travel, much like the last, is uneventful. You see no signs of any archway, anything like that, unfortunately.
We must be there soon, right? Captain, we're close.
Unfortunately, I can't see the roads ahead past our own sight. But from what I could tell on the map, if it is at least somewhat accurate, it shouldn't be too much longer. At least one would hope.
Okay. Let's find a place to sleep.
I agree.
I love sleeping. Well, not as much anymore. I used to love sleeping a lot, and then this whole dream world thing. Anyway.
And you can't sleep on the back of your head because you're sleeping on your face.
And I can't sleep on my face because I'm sleeping on my face.
Right. I
guess I'm a side sleeper now.
We should get some rest.
Hold on, Derek and I are having a serious scene now.
Yeah. Give us a second. Give us a second. You're sleeping on the side of your head. Does that mean that you're off balance when you sleep? Do you have to continuously adjust?
No, because I'm sleeping on my left side and my right side at the same time.
What face do you breathe out of when you sleep?
He waves his paw to feel if the face is breathing.
Do you breathe out of the nose when you sleep and exhale through the mouth and the back of the head?
I haven't really thought about it.
Are they connected?
I honk the nose on the head and go.
There's a sudden intake of breath. No, I'm just kidding.
I think I just use my own face like before.
Right. I do not want to be Big Spoon with you tonight. You are by yourself. It's just awkward to think about you looking at me in the face while I am looking at the back of your head. I strictly am Big Spoon for the sole fact that I can look into nothing and no eyes.
No, I get it. I wouldn't want to be in that position either. So, no, we'll just... I don't know, we'll just hold hands or something.
I just said inside of my head hurts.
And scene.
Oh my god, the emotional range of that scene, my god. Calder's emotional scene is an inner monologue with himself. Here I go. No, I'm just kidding.
As his psyche becomes unraveled by this book.
All right. The night passes without incident. You are able to mark back your fatigue and any hunger and thirst that you may have, marking off another count of your rations, and wake up in the morning and you are able to move yet again.
Hooray.
On the map.
Okay, am I gonna move straight up again?
I would.
Boom.
Oh.
All right.
I don't like that it's red. I don't.
We fall into a giant
like
bowl of tomato soup.
Yep. This is the only red one ever. The campaign is over when you hit here. I'm sorry.
I was like,
No.
Minesweeper.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, pretty much. No.
Oh no.
As you guys begin making your preparations and your journey forward for the next day, you wake up in the morning, get your food, do your meditations, do what you do, and begin venturing forth. Some several hours into your journey, you see things that you haven't in the majority of your time in Old Cook Market, which are homes without X's on them, and in so much people. You see people milling about, almost as if living their own lives. All of them wearing some sort of like handkerchief or something around their mouth. But they do they do look at you and give you a weird, sidelong look as you continue down the streets and pass. You see wagons or carts being pulled by men and women with goods, seemingly fresh food and jugs and barrels of seemingly water and drink, and as is ever present, crows. Much more crows you have noticed than you have seen before. On every lamppost, on every home, there are crows. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Vodder pulls his cloak up to cover his mouth. Just sort of to mimic what the people here are doing.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Wisp will also do the same.
And when he sees the crows, he's going to lean over to Wisp and say, do
you know what I just realized?
What?
They're the guards. They're the city
Crows?
guard. If violence happens, they settle it.
And she'll look up.
Remember the chirurgeon said they protect the people.
They do. And there's more people here, yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They seem normal. I don't know what normal is. Is this normal?
I don't think normal ever existed, so I don't think you should.
Okay, all right. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I've read that once on the Chive. Yeah, whatever. All right, yeah, whatever.
I know.
Whatever.
Straight up called out. She just.
This is what a lot of.
Was that a basic response? Like Vada was like, "This big? How dare you give me that response?" I know.
Sure. He says, "No, I understand, but this is how lots of people act in society."
Do people look happy to you, Vada?
Do they look happy?
They don't look
unhappy. Give me a vibe
day.
check. Can I get a vibe check?
Yeah.
As we look around.
I'd like to roll that too if I can.
Yeah.
Insight?
I think it would just be an insight check.
Can I just roll an insight check on the environment?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I'm still at disadvantage, so it's a
Yeah,
6.
I'm also at disadvantage. So let me just figure out what my modifier is. Insight? Okay. With disadvantage, that is a natural 1 for a total of 4. I can't read emotions.
Okay, we.
They're kind of, for you, Wisp. They're straight faced. There's no one really particularly smiling or emotions that come with happiness and contentment. You don't see any of that, but they're just kind of straight faced. Vodder, you're getting kind of a similar vibe. They do not seem happy, but they're not in despair or anything like that.
And Vodder has never been in a city in his entire life. And so,
yeah, they seem present.
The thing you do
They're
notice
here. Yes.
is as you're walking down the street, your heart almost stops for a second because you see three chirurgeon begin walking down the street.
I look for an alley with some shadows to hide.
Okay. You can roll a stealth check if you like.
Oh, okay. I will.
Yeah, disadvantage. Or it'd be a straight roll for you.
My shoes give me like sound-based advantage on stealth.
Okay.
But I mean, if I felt like I wasn't being stealthy enough, I would I'll just roll. I'll just do it. Here we go.
Close hand.
11 and 11.
11. You won craps.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't know how it
if
works.
you would have bet past line. I've been gambling too
Okay.
much in Wild today.
Mhm,
So you're able to like go down a side alley. You think you might have hid. You're not quite sure as you kind of duck away quickly. What is everybody else doing?
Three of them are approaching. So you went and hid. I am going to stop moving if they're coming straight at us.
You pretend to be a statue.
Would he? No. I'm going to stop and observe their approach.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything?
I am
I
monitoring.
think I'd.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd also. No, I would just say I'm gonna stand right next to Knock. I'm just gonna stop.
Kimura is looking for vantage points. If stuff gets hairy, she gonna get
Okay.
Larry. No, she wants to.
We gotta talk about this for a second. You and these rhymes today. We need to read some Dr. Seuss books. We're gonna get you fucking educated.
Get out my
This is
system.
the way to go.
She's gonna look for high points that she could bug out to get good vantage points if things go bad.
Okay. So you're kind of looking around, and there's a couple homes. There's a stall kind of set maybe partially into an alleyway that you might be able to hide somewhat, close to where Vodder hid and whatnot. But as the Kyrogen come near, you see a small child run up to them. And in her hand, she is holding flowers. And they look to be almost roses, but they are dying. You can see they're almost they're curling in on each other. The tips of the petals are a darker hue, and you can see it's they're not very well maintained. But she goes up and hands these Kyrogen like several flowers, and they kind of bow down and take them and kind of bring them like to their chest in kind of a reverent way. And the little girl smiles, and she runs off towards her mother and father, who give her kind of a reassuring pat on the back and kind of smile at her as well. The Kyrogen then go about, and they go to each person almost in turn. They split off, and two of them walk around this little square that you're in, and you can see them talking to the townsfolk and whatnot. One of them begins to approach you, Knock and Wisp.
Real quick before this happens, what's Calder doing?
Calder would be standing behind Knock.
Okay.
Where he feels like he cannot be seen. Kind of like.
Knock is going to wait for them to speak first. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to stand there with just like that face of curiosity to why one would approach, but also with one that would not want to just react immediately.
Wisp, not understanding what the hell is going on, is going to like mimic his stature. So she's gonna she's gonna kind of look beyond them. She's gonna kind of look like she's looking for someone in the crowd almost. She's just gonna kind of look like they're not gonna be a bother for her.
Man, what the fuck you want? Sorry.
Okay. So you this Kyrogen walks up to you, and you do notice he's wearing the standard Kyrogen getup, a black deep black robe with a plague bird-like mask with feathers creeping out from the top. He's got a symbol of like a crow skull on a chain. The other thing you notice is a syringe also being shown on this chain. The difference between this syringe and the one that you have in your possession is the fluid is almost entirely full.
That means this dude is hard.
He is hardcore.
He's like a high-level dude.
And he approaches you and he says, "Citizen, I hope I find you well." And he kind of looks, or outsider, I should say. I hope I find you well.
Who is he directing the comment to?
Yeah, is that
Towards both of you.
Well, Wisp, I don't know about you, but I am feeling just fine. How are you doing?
Fine.
We're doing just well, Kyrogen. How are you on this fine day?
Chipper.
Glad. And Nock says, "Oh, it's funny. Your masks look really familiar. We're new to this city of Vedranis. We have not been here for quite some time. But we did find one of these."
And Nock reaches to his back and rips off the Kyrogen mask that he uses got as a trophy kill and says,
This belonged to one of your friends. I think I saw him earlier. He had been mashed or beaten. There were some people who were talking about sleeping sickness and whatnot around him, but we ran into them, but they scurried off. Figured you might want this.
and he just kind of like lobs the mask over towards the guy.
He catches it and looks at it with the dried blood kind of crusting the front of it. I need you to roll a deception check for me. As you're spinning the truth a little bit.
Just a bit.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Deception. Oh boy. I'm on a roll today.
19.
Literally. Bang.
And you found him in this condition.
Well, I found the mask, which I thought looked really cool, so I thought it belonged to a giant cuckoo, one of them giant birds. And I thought I could take that along with me, but that was not the case. This mask was here, I found it. I'm not going to find much use to it if I don't know what exactly it belonged to, so I thought I'd go ahead and give it back to where it belonged. But there were sleepers. These were over there, talking about that. They wanted to go ahead and have us follow them or whatever, but they were standing around, many of these people holding them off.
Strange that there are sleepers in the old Croak Market. I've never seen them there before. They seem to stick within the slums.
So we just had ran into them since we're new here. Isn't that right there, Wisp?
That's right. Of course.
Now, these guys are white, right? These guys are all clad in white.
They're clad in black, and they've got like a white mask with like leather. Yeah.
Obviously different from the mask that he has in his hands, right?
No, it is almost identical.
Almost identical. Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave him to respond.
Kind of looks about, yeah. And you have no further information as to who or what happened, simply that sleepers are responsible for this.
That's all I have there, fella. I came in here to go ahead and hunt down a giant centipede, but have not had any luck finding the damn thing. It eluded me, eluded us.
That is our quarry.
That is why we're here in the city of Vedranis, seeking the bounty of this creature.
Well, then you should check to the northwest. 2 days.
That is where we have been instructed. Thank you.
Yes.
If you have, seem to remember, and he kind of looks at your battle axe with a slightly questioning look. if you have any further information as to what happened, and he again goes from the battle axe to the mask, please come to the asylum. You will be handsomely rewarded for any more information I'm sure that you'll find. We have heard of several incidents occurring in the past few days. We would like to find out what happened in more clear detail.
Sure.
We'll be right there to pass that information to you, fella. You lot go ahead and be well. Very.
Yay, merrily. And Knock is going to push. Is going to start to push past them and start walking.
And as you kind of are you coughing in front of him or
No, just dying.
Is
in real
this
life.
in character?
No. This is OOC dying, not
Okay.
IC dying.
well don't do
Yes.
that. As you kind of push past, he says, and I wish you good health. As he kind of looks at Wisp and then looks at Calder, who is inches behind Knock. And he kind of continues forward to the next group of people that were behind you.
All right. But Vaughter hasn't caught up with us. Yes, I'm guessing he's still stuck in the shadows.
I think so, unless he, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be like hiding behind a barrel or something watching this.
As we're walking away, though, I want to whisper to Calder as well as Wisp, and say,
That was going to get us in trouble faster than I thought it was going to.
and then like kind of like looks down to like the ripped tether that was off the trophy, and he goes,
And now I need to replace my mask.
And Wisp will kind of chuckle at that and look around to make sure that everybody's coming out of their hidey holes.
Yeah.
What did they say? What did they want?
Ask the big one. He took.
I turned to Calder.
What did they say? What did they...
I'm just kidding. Just to insult Knock.
No, Knock, what did they say? Did he have that one have the syringe around his neck? How much liquid was in there?
It was almost full.
Just about.
Wow.
Overall, those are the same people that we ran into beforehand with the crows, the Kyrogen.
Oh yeah, but there's more liquid in his thing, so that means he's like high ranking, or tough, or dangerous.
So you've been paying attention to the liquid that's on his chest.
Yeah, it's like a badge. Or it's a trophy. And the more liquid in the trophy,
Knox
the
doesn't
more,
understand.
yeah, the higher he is in the village.
And
He's a
Organization.
Hokage.
The more glorious he is.
Yes.
Oh, all right. That makes
it
sense.
probably should have gotten his name.
Knock kind of looks at Wisp with like a scoff face, like,
We don't need his name. We need his mask.
I'm gonna look for that little girl who handed them the flowers.
Okay.
oh, creepy bugbear tries to hunt out a little girl.
Little girl.
You
With his
yeah.
10-foot arm reach, no
Uh-huh.
big deal.
So you see her off to the side just a little bit. She's standing next to her parents. The father appears to be elvish. The mother appears to be human. And so she seems to be a half elf. Her ears not quite as prominent as her father's. She is currently standing there, like beaming up at this Kyrogen who's standing in front of him. Not the one,
A different one.
a different one. And the father and mother seem to be in like deep conversation with this Kyrogen.
I'm going to sort of approach the little girl sort of in a friendly, non-threatening way, and sort of see if she'll talk to me. Preferably not making not drawing notice from the chirurgeon and the parents.
Okay.
Not a creepy way. I'm not like, hey, little girl, come talk to
Yeah.
me. I'm just going to walk up kind of casually, you know, and ask her a question
I got this trail mix.
without saying a word.
Hey, girl, you want some weed?
No, I'm gonna walk up to her.
Yeah, used it all already.
Oh, it's all gone. I'm gonna walk up to her and I'm gonna say,
Pardon me, young lady. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course. Sure.
Okay. That chirurgeon, the one with the big needle around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know his name?
Let me get a name real quick.
sure.
Don't say it, guys. Don't say Bart.
No, Bart
Bart.
the Sleeper.
He's dead.
He
is dead.
Oh, no.
Which means his name goes back into the name pool.
Fan
Yeah.
favorite Bart gets his name recycled.
Bartington.
Second.
McBartholomew.
Bart, but he's got 2 T's.
Bart.
But I've got 2 T's.
God damn it.
Bartington.
Yeah, his name is Roderick.
Roderick. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you give him those flowers?
Well, because they help us not get sick. They help take care of us.
Oh, the chirurgeons.
Yeah.
Oh, not
They're
the
so
flowers.
they're so great. No, the
So
flowers.
it was like a
no.
gift to them.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I like to give them gifts when they come in because they help everyone.
Oh, yes. I like to give gifts too. Hold on.
And I'm going to reach into my bag and pull out. I have to look at things I have. I'm going to pull out. Are there any books from Idrit's house that are like appropriate for kids?
I'd say
Probably
there's
not.
maybe like a grim fairy tale type of book.
Oh,
maybe.
absolutely. I pull that out and I say,
Here. For reading.
She just beams. Oh my. I can't. Mommy! And she turns
yeah.
and she's like, look. She's look what the kind book Pet gave me.
And I'm already gone.
And the turd, yeah. Fucking Batman over here.
I just
don't know.
invented Santa Claus as a
reality, he's just
bugbear.
Like running away like this.
Yeah. Absolutely. Is that the way I run?
I don't know.
You have 10
It is now.
Yeah, you skulk.
arms.
You would fit right into Monsters Incorporated.
Basically,
yeah,
so
you're
it
just
is.
Sully.
Basically,
Yeah, you're
so.
Sully.
Basically. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
I love that visual.
And they
Giant
turn
arms
and
dangling like a wavy arm flailing tube man.
you just missed
Okay.
your chance for Boo. I mean, you just gave Boo a gift. There you go.
I mean,
So
she seems okay with her parents.
Yeah. So
Then you left her. Just like Sully did too.
Dude, spoilers. Spoilers.
Wow! Wow!
I've been
Wait a
waiting to
minute.
watch.
Too soon. All right.
Someone just unsubscribed. Someone did.
So
That's
looking
it.
around, looking around this area, is this mostly residential? You said, is there like,
Yeah.
are there any businesses, an inn, anything like that?
You see like a few small market stalls, something that you haven't quite seen as much. And as you kind of look down the street, you see there's almost a larger conglomeration of huts and stalls and whatnot for markets and whatnot.
Look, they have things for sale.
I'm actually a little interested in what they might have.
Same.
Did it look like they have a blacksmith?
Make a perception check.
Yeah. Perception.
Receive the hell out of that blacksmith.
Gonna perceive the hell out of it.
See all the
With
blacksmiths.
a nat 1.
Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there are any blacksmiths about. It looks like more like food, bits of rations, maybe, things like that. Almost just like basic living supplies and things like that. There might be some adventuring gear here, but it looks like, you know, there's more, maybe like some like fresh water, you know, maybe minor like tonics or something like that you can see in this area.
Okay.
Vadar's gonna buy some more rations and water just because he's running a little bit low.
That's exactly what I
Same.
was thinking.
Rations.
Same.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 more days or something like that for himself.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say you can buy what you'd like as far as like rations go and whatnot, and mark off the appropriate amount.
How much are rations one more time?
They're half a gold piece.
Okay. So 2 for a gold.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
gave all my gold to Wisp, so I walk over to Wisp. Which, upon reflection, wasn't a good idea. And go. I believe I handed you my entire coin purse.
Oh. Okay. And she just takes the coin purse and just hands it right back.
It is fine. We have gold back at Hello. Just might need a couple kickback for the rations.
Oh, okay. And she'll just like dig in and hand you a handful. We'll say it ends up being 30 gold.
Okay, cool. Cool. Put it on my shirt.
I don't even think I even updated the amount of gold that I have when I first started making the character. Nox broke! I have 1 gold piece.
I'll buy
I buy rations with it.
5. Well, no, I buy the same amount, 5 days worth for Knock and hand it to him.
Here.
He goes. You hand him the rations of the food. You see for the first time, like it's like an emotional moment for Knock. He looks at Vadar and says, "Thank you."
Oh, you're welcome.
Stuffs his sack full of fucking rations.
We have to take care of each other.
He nods in approval. Each other.
He's just sort of looking over all the other wares and.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're not.
He looks around at all the people in the market. He says,
We're not these people. And we're not outsiders either. We're the in-betweens. You know what I mean? The people kind of fit but don't fit, and belong but don't belong. So all we have is each other. Here in the space in between.
Is that one of your god speeches talking, or no?
Well, kind of, but not like word for word. It's just sort of like a kind of teaching that we pass down. The binary is an illusion. Everyone says this or that, or up or down, or day or night. But there are sunsets.
Your words are a little confusing.
We'll get there. It's okay. It's okay to sort of slip in between. Not everybody notices you, and you can make a lot of things change for good or bad. Maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe.
Knock throws his rucksack over his shoulder. Starts walking to see what else is around the shop. Away from Vadar, because that conversation was awkward.
giving you a headache, I'm sure.
Now, Knock receives your words in a manner that it means something to him, but because of the fact that it has religious text to it, or that it's coming from that, it's still foreign to him. So it's
He's
just
got to process it. He's got to.
Yeah, it's got to take
Got
its
to
time.
roll around inside that big stone cranium.
All the rocks.
As you guys are kind of sitting there, you begin to hear voices call out somewhere ahead of you, further into the market. Raised voices, frantic voices, voices of confusion. You hear one voice, no, out of the way, out of the way, clear some room, move, move, move. Here's something like that.
Kimura,
We'll look towards that direction.
Yeah, Kimura immediately like head snaps to attention, and she goes to get a view on what's going on.
Okay. So you begin moving your way through the stalls, and soon you find yourself. You see market stalls, but they're now abandoned, and you see an open square of beds and almost tents that have been erected. You see more people covering their mouths and walking, getting away from these voices, but you see people laying on these cots in these tents for almost as far as your eye can see. Anybody who's standing up is frantically kind of moving out of the way very quickly, away, almost back towards the way you came, and you see a handful of Kyrogen, maybe 5 or 6, they're moving someone on like a makeshift stretcher, heading towards an empty tent. And you can see the person is lashed and like restrained in the cot, and you can see their head is thrashing about. It looks to be like a tiefling, is what you can see. Appears to be male, purplish skin. You can see like ram-like horns, but they're just like, and they're like thrashing about in this cot as they are dragging them. Just like the Kyrogen, 4 of the Kyrogen are holding each handle and moving them into a tent. And they're just like, move, move.
Is there any Kyrogen that is just kind of keeping a crowd back that's a bit more by themselves?
There are a few, yeah.
I'm gonna head
You can see several. Like there are quite a few Kyrogen in this area.
Kimura heads straight up to one. And, yeah.
Citizen, I need you to vacate the area, please. This is not a request. Move. Because they kind of put their hand up towards you.
Before I move, she does actually first say, "What is going on?"
Kyrogen business. We have a citizen who is very sick. Now I need you to make your way out of the area before you yourself get sick. Now please, this is for your own good. You need to leave.
She pauses for a second, but she complies.
All of a sudden you hear like a yell and a pain, ear-splitting scream, and another Kyrogen runs up to the one that you're talking to. He's like, "We need you in here," and they both run to the tent, and one of them closes the tent behind, kind of closes the flaps. Is anybody doing or want to do anything?
It's quite shocking.
We can't see that, right? Because we're somewhere, some marker that we have.
I'm watching
Move
for
away a
sure,
little
but I
bit,
might
yeah.
be on the
I
edge.
figure you follow. I figure you if you think you would have followed Kimura, then I'd say you could see this.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm not approaching that tent. Noxie still.
I think I'm gonna wait for Kimura to kind of come back over and see what she says.
Is there light coming from the tent? Is there any silhouettes being cast?
There are, yes, 100%. There are silhouettes.
I'd like to observe the silhouette of the tiefling.
Okay, you can't really see the tiefling much right now because there are the silhouettes of Kyrogen kind of lining the tent.
Okay.
But occasionally you'll see one of the couple of Kyrogen move back, and then you hear, "No, restrain him."
Okay. Kimura is honestly, she's just gonna keep gathering as much information from audio or silhouette or whatever that she can get from this. She wants to know what is going on, like what this is.
Okay. You hear, people are trying to get information as well. You hear, what happened? Where did you find this one? And you, somewhere to the north, they hold up in an abandoned home. I don't know. We just came across them. Luckily, there was no one else about, I don't think. You also hear, God, he's... you can hear like murmurings and whatnot, and then you hear, this one's too far gone. Do what you need to.
Too far gone.
And then you hear like a pause, and did you not hear me? And the voice kind of lowers for a second. Have you not seen what happens? Do what you must, or I will do it for you, and I will make sure you never see the light of day again. And then you hear, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna be like, okay.
And all of a sudden you hear, absolutely. And then you hear a loud, ah! like screams, and all of a sudden you hear, and you see one of the Chirurgeon get lifted up into the air, and you see a bit of the tent kind of push, and then all of a sudden you hear just kill him now. And then you hear swords being drawn, and all of a sudden it's just confusion as you hear Chirurgeon getting like killed. And you see all of a sudden the tent kind of moves as like a rip comes through, and you see like a tentacle just erupt out of the top of the tent. You hear, and you see more Chirurgeons start to rush towards.
Okay, Kimura does this thing where she just pushes the rifle sling off the shoulder and flips it round and literally takes aim at a tentacle. Because, no thank you. No, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys are getting,
I just got like my
into
shopping
this.
bags and whatnot. I'm just like,
There's not a goddamn thing
What?
that this floor monk can do. No, I'm not running towards that. Are you kidding me?
I'm in the bathroom.
yeah. I'm gonna say I'm still in the crowd right now. I have
Yeah,
not.
no, we're in the
moved.
crowd. We have no idea.
I want to assess. I want to assess a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more.
So literally, back from where I am, even though like Kimura's aiming, but you see her head lean over the shoulder and just go, knock! Do something!
Knock.
Sorry, that was an Overwatch reference. That's
Knock
what you
is
hear.
your Bob.
Knock is my Bob.
Yeah, pretty much. Knock kind of like rolls his head in his eyes, like, gives his bag to like a nearby passerby. He's like, take that. Grabs his axe, and then he takes 2 steps like out of the crowd, but turns around and says, "You listen to my food, I snap your laugh." He turns back around, and starts walking very steadily and quickly towards Kimura.
all right. So for those of you who are taking part in this, I need you to roll initiative.
Initiative.
Oh my word.
Oh,
I do not have a map
Oh,
for
you
this,
don't- oh, okay,
unfortunately.
okay.
So, I mean, I can maybe hastily throw something together.
Let's theater of our minds.
We'll try a
Yes,
theater of the mind.
theater of our minds.
Shut up.
I'm a big fan of this. Please,
So-
Nathan Maneuver.
Imagination of mine.
I'm the bigger.
This is a weird night.
It's
British strange.
It's like Count Olaf.
You can't spell acting without acting.
Oh, okay. So initiative.
Sorry, I just need to roll all the Chirurgeon on here because there's a few.
Oh yeah, 22.
I am the most lost human right now. Roll for initiative, nerd. There it is.
Okay, so
Right.
imagery. I got. I just got the very specific, vivid imagery of Cloverfield. If anybody's seen that movie.
Yes.
So good.
I was thinking actually the tentacle from I think it's Men in Black 2 when they're in the mail. They're in the mail. Yeah, and just like grabs him swinging around. Oh, this poor guy. These poor people. I'm gonna fight a fucking D&D hentai monster. Thanks, damn gods. Thank you.
Yo, Derek, it wasn't weird till you said it. We were all thinking it, but why'd you have to vocalize it?
Cause that's what I'm here for.
So now,
Derek's
and now-
reality.
and now my theater of the mind is corrupted?
Oh my god. I'm gonna keep the Kyrogen all on the same initiative just for ease, so I don't have to roll it like a million times. Okay, well there you go. They got 20s, and I'll roll it for the other one too. So, and then
My favorite part of the song is coming up. We get full Witcher vibes.
Are you about to get the vocals?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
and
I
then-
literally live for it. Every time we get in a fight, I'm like, oh, it's coming. Yeah.
and this is for the thing you are fighting. All right. Well, there you go.
Oh, get it, girl. Hit that high C.
Whoa.
All right. So, Kimura, it is your turn. I'm gonna say that you are about 40 feet away at the moment. So kind of try to. You guys will need to, since we're doing theater of the mind, try to keep track of where you are in the space.
Okay, so as the
And we-
tentacle come out of the tentacle?
Yes.
Tentacle?
The tentacle
The
tent.
tentacle. Okay, so, Kimura realizing that this is probably originated from this, would you say that's fair?
Say that again.
Would you say it's fair that Kimura ascertains that the tentacle is originating from the tiefling?
It's hard to see, but I mean, it's
Okay.
Yeah.
Based on the silhouetting, can Kimura try and shoot for where the tiefling supposedly is?
Yes. It would be very difficult because I would say it has 3 quarters cover, but you ignored that now because of your sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter.
They are prone at the moment.
Oh, that's a
So I think it's technically still a disadvantage.
disadvantage if they are prone. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do it. It'd be disadvantage. You're ignoring cover, so they don't have like an AC bonus. Kind of what I'm imagining. If you remember Spider-Man 2, the original one, like Doc Ock when he's attacking the nurses and whatnot in the hospital. It's kind of like that.
What a great scene.
So I think Kimura tries to line up the shot to get to the center point, but realizes that the shot is just too. It's just like this is ridiculous. So she goes for an easier shot to start with, and tries to get center mass on one of the tentacles. Doc looks riveted. I love this. Yeah, just like, oh my god. Yeah, just goes for like a thicker part of the tentacle, so lower down, not like right at the tip, but tries to get some real meat in there.
Meat's back on the menu.
Go ahead and roll an attack.
Alrighty then. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Because we're gonna test this out, folks. I am gonna do the -5 penalty for the +10 damage. We'll see how this goes.
All right.
Okay.
Hello.
Nice. So that's 23.
23 does hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, queen.
Yeah, batch.
We're gonna add 10 to 15, 25.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Wow, wow, wee wah.
Almost got max damage on that. 25 from the musket. The Thunderthorn.
Thunderthorn!
Thunderthorn!
All right.
And there's this
On the
massive,
thighs.
as if literally what you see is like it get pushed off, flipped round, and you just hear knock, and then poof, and then just straight, you know, yeah.
Bob!
Do something.
Perfect. All right. Is that your turn?
That is my turn.
All right. It is the Kyrogen's turn. Let's see if oh my god. Okay. So give me half a second. It's a wisdom saving throw. So this guy needs. They all need to make wisdom saving throws.
Oh,
That's a
God.
failure.
Fail.
Fail.
Epic.
So he acquires something. Sorry, guys. And that's a 24. So all of a sudden you see a silhouette of a Kyrogen pull up like a dagger and is about to stab something. All of a sudden he drops it and just starts screaming, and you can just see him kind of go into a fetal position, and does not do anything on that turn. It is the next one's turn. Let's see if he passes. He's okay, so he can make an attack, I believe. Oh my god. He's gonna just attempt to attack it with a scimitar, which is a miss. And he kind of tries to remain composure. He kind of grabs the one on the ground. He's like, "Get up! Get up!" And that's his turn. It is the next one's turn. That's a fail. This is gonna be so interesting. 35. Another one goes, and you see him back out of the way, back out of the tent. This thing is going to make an attack of opportunity against him. See if that hits. That's not a very good roll. Still hits. Oh my god.
Good on you, mate.
So you all of a sudden see, as this, you see like the back end of this Kyrogen back out, and all of a sudden you see another tentacle swing out and grab the Kyrogen and grab around the neck. He's like, and it just gets dragged and pulled back in as he screams, and is dead. But I'm trying to get through this as fast as possible. There's like 5 of them. They might not last long, I'm assuming. That guy fails too.
That delivery, though, and he's dead.
This one is also
And he's
this one is
dead.
also frightened and is luckily able to make it out of the tent and runs is just fucking booking it. It is the leader's turn now. He succeeds, and he will try to make 2 dagger attacks against this thing. That's a miss. That's a hit. Okay. Wisp, it is your turn. As you see, you know, one of them, you see the silhouette of one cower. One tries to run and gets yanked back into the tent where you can't see, and the other one just fucking books it.
Yeah, I don't have much to do. I'm just gonna try and throw a dart at one of the tentacles.
Okay. It's you're about 50 feet away. I'd say you're like next to Kimura.
Okay.
So how far
Can
can you throw your?
I-
You can move. I mean,
Can I move within 20 feet of it?
yeah, sure.
Okay. That is my. That's just within the range of me needing to do it.
Okay. As you get closer, you notice the voices that you've been hearing in your head begin to get louder, and there's a moment where almost the tent move, like the kind of the flaps move, and you actually get an image of this creature, because it is no longer a tiefling. You see a mass of flesh, this dark aberration, this strange creature. I'm gonna make a snippet really quick and upload it so you can see what this thing kind of looks like, just so you can get the image of what you're fighting. You know.
Okay.
That was good.
It's always a good sign when the DM wants to show you what it looks like.
Yeah, if you want to pull up the map really quick, I'll just superimpose it onto the map.
Here for it, Dad.
So this is what you see. If you can see it.
No.
Nope,
Nothing,
not yet.
nothing yet.
Let me maybe it should be on. Are you guys on this map? Yeah, it should just be right. Oh, it's because it's dark. That's why.
Okay.
I'm gonna add handouts to you guys. Apologize. So if you go to the
Oh my god.
newspaper looking thing.
Nope.
I don't like that.
Oh God.
Oh
I
boy.
like
Yeah.
I mean,
Fuck
when you say
us.
tentacle, I picture big purple tentacle.
No,
Yeah.
it's like more fleshy.
This is
Ah.
more.
I don't like this.
Yeah, we're not talking about your bad dragon collection.
Nothing
there, Potter.
cartoonish about this.
Can I just note, like, I don't have any stoppages when I play games, but this is as close as it gets. Like, whew. This and flesh golems can't do it.
There's some Dead Space vibes I'm getting. I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's difficult.
I love it. Okay.
Get it.
I need you to make a
Wisp?
wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, Wisp is fucking horrified. All right, let's get to wisdom.
Wisdom.
It's big ol' whopping 11.
All right, so that is a failure. I need you to roll a d100 for me.
Fuck. Okay, give me 1 second, friend. That is a 46.
46. Okay, so you just start mumbling to yourself. You're not able to coherently say
Okay.
what you want. So for 9 minutes, you are. Sorry, you did. It just says the character begins babbling and is incapable of normal speech or spell casting.
Okay.
So okay for Wisp, luckily, because you can still use your
Sure.
key to cast your spells and whatnot. But you do technically still have your action, so you can absolutely try to attack this thing.
Yeah, I would like to. I'm still within 20 feet away, so I'm still gonna throw that dart. I got a 15 on it, unless you want me to re-roll it.
No, that should be fine. Let me double check. That will hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
6 damage.
6 damage. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll stay 20 feet away from it.
Perfect. Is that your turn?
Yes.
All right. Calder is up. Let me get his character sheet.
Actually, 1 second. I think I would like to spend a key point to do patient defense.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Dum 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 dum. So Calder is going to cast Hex on it, as he's next to Kimura, so he's a decent ways away. And he's going to try to sling an Eldritch Blast through the kind of the opening that he can see. It does have a 12 12. Let me see if he has anything really quick. I think he has a thing that he can use. Okay, that's not it. So he slings and he misses, and it tears a hole through the tent. He's kind of freaked out. And that's going to be his turn. Vodder, it is your turn if you'd like to do anything.
Hooray!
Vodder, so am I 40 feet away still? Is that what you said? Or am I further?
50 feet.
50. That's fine. That's nothing to me.
That's like his entire arm length.
I'm going to see like where this is coming in. I'm going to see the fear on Wisp's babbling face, and so he's going to figure something very bad is inside that tent. So I'm going to blow my new 2nd level spell slot and cast Moonbeam down on the top of the tent.
Okay.
So that's it creates a 5-foot cylinder that's like 120 feet high, and 40 feet high. Sorry, and when a creature enters the spell for the first time or starts its turn there, bad things happen to it. And
is it an enemy or is it anything?
When a creature, so any living creature, and they have to make a Constitution saving throw, and I can move it at the end of my turns, basically.
Okay. Will you remind me to do that at the start of the turns?
I will. I will.
Awesome.
Who is still inside that tent, by the way?
So there are
Other than Mr. Tentacles.
Squidward?
Yeah. Other than Zoidberg, who else is in this tent?
So there are. Sorry, I kind of messed up the turn order real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 Kyrogen, and one of them, things, guys, yes?
So it's only a 5-foot cylinder, so I'd like to...
Okay, so you can...
I'd like to position it where the thing is, directly, through shadow and things like that, if I can tell from the silhouette.
Okay, perfect. Is that your turn?
I am done with my turn.
Okay, so it is the creature's turn now. So when it starts its turn, it has to...
Yes, so it needs to make a Constitution saving throw, as it is engulfed with ghostly flames.
Okay.
So it's a DC 14 con save.
Con save. Right, so that it does have advantage. So that's why I rolled twice.
That's a fail.
So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is a fail. That's a 13.
Sweet. So it is going to take 2d10 radiant damage.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
So
7 points. Not awesome, but it stays there as I hold concentration on it.
Okay. Perfect. Knock, it is your turn.
All right. DM question: what's the weather like? Is it cloudy outside? Is it
there's always,
forecast?
Yeah, there's always like a sort of a brackish brown green hue to this sky. You'd say it's probably past the afternoon. It's probably maybe a few hours, getting towards maybe the end of your day. So, like dusk, not quite dusk, but just about.
Okay. I have a question for you. I would like to go ahead and I know I had been called by Kimura. As soon as she said my name, she shot. I was making my way over to her. So realistically, where Kimura is to the tent, she is how far away from the tent?
50 feet.
And how far am I to Kimura at this point?
I think I was 40.
Am I next door?
I think 40 is right.
Yeah.
Was it 40? Okay.
I'm 50 because I'm behind her.
Okay.
All right, and how close am I to her?
I mean, if you were
At this
following
point.
pretty close, I'd say you're 50 feet. I'd say you're right next to Vodder.
Okay. I am going to move, but as my action, I'm going to do my action as well as move to a place where I would be around 30 feet away from the tent. But I'm going to walk past Kimura. I'm going to take off one of my trophies off of my waist, which is a pair of hands that are clasped together with like a really cool like Naruto-like hand sign, right? With the two hands clasped together, and I'm going to take the rope and grab Kimura's belt, her belt loop, and just start tying it around her, and then tie it, grab the hands, and say,
Rinkai.
lightning from all different parts of the sky intersect together right above me and Kimura, and a lightning bolt strikes right in front of us, and it revealing a enormous, very wavy javelin. And it is a javelin of lightning that stabs right in front of us. And I'm going to keep walking, but as I'm walking, I'm going to turn to Kimura and be like,
Let's see if it's as good as you are with that gun, and let's see if you can throw something as accurate as well as you can shoot.
and I'm going to keep walking. I'm going to keep walking over towards where I can be 30 feet away.
As you continue walking, you feel the same otherworldly presence of this creature, should I say, as you get within 30 feet of it. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Understood.
Wisdom save.
Oh boy.
That's a fail, unfortunately, with a 2. I need you to roll a D100 for me.
D100.
Why does this... 82. Okay.
82.
So, as you begin to walk forward, you see the visage, you see this creature for what it truly is, and you stop mid-stride, about 20 feet away from it. You are technically stunned, you are incapacitated, you can't move, and can speak only falteringly. You automatically fail any strength or dex saving throws, and attack rolls have advantage for 4 minutes. You can re-roll at the end. Let's see. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of the turn. At the end of your turn, ending the madness on a success. So on your next turn, you can re-roll and see if you can stave off this effect. But you're about 20 feet away, so you're still a ways away from it. So, back at the top of initiative, Kimura.
Okay, so this javelin of lightning, how does this work then? Just is it just a physical weapon now, or?
It is a physical weapon. So the weapon lands in front of you. It is very it looks physical. It's got two sides to it. Both of them have blades, and once you would to touch this thing, literally yourself would almost be it imbued by that lightning. And it is a javelin. It's a throwable weapon, and when thrown, it's a 5-foot line. Anything in that 5-foot line at 120 feet distance has to make the dexterity saving throw of 13. They take 4d6 worth of damage. Then whatever it hits takes 1d6 plus 4d6 worth of damage if you throw and hit something.
Okay, so I don't need to necessarily be good at throwing javelins. I just need to hit it. So it's like a magic javelin, essentially.
Pretty much.
Okay, cool. Cole, for the sake of this thing being upright in front of me, do I need to essentially equip the item? Because I'm holding my rifle. So if
I would say you can.
Yeah.
I'd say you can stow your gun. It's probably you've got a sling, so it's easy for you to stow it and then just
back. Yeah. Okay. And then I basically take this thing and I basically run my hand down one end of it before I kind of look at this thing. And she's half shitting herself here still, but she's seen a lot of war and a lot of weird shit as well. Probably not as weird as this. I'm gonna own up to that. But she's gonna try and compose herself before yeeting the javelin. Yeah.
Okay. And we might have to double check. Is there a range increment on the javelin that you have to be within a certain range to throw
120.
it?
120 feet. That's what
so the javelin has a 120-foot range.
That's nice.
Yeah.
This one.
Nice.
Yeah, it's literally you as soon as you throw it, like this giant like lightning like stream that it carries. So like anything in that still gets hit by that. But the
5
javelin
feet wide.
itself,
That's a
yeah,
thick
it's 5 feet
lightning.
wide.
Okay.
Yep, and then it hits whatever the target hits. It's 1d6 plus 4d6 with the damage. But they can make a save for half of the damage if they successfully save it over the 13.
Oh, so is it 1d6 piercing and 4d6 lightning?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so go ahead. So it has so you can throw it obviously to it. You don't have to make an attack roll for it. It needs to make a dexterity saving throw. Which it is prone. It's technically restrained still, so the prone doesn't matter as much as the restrained. So I think restrained means it has disadvantage, or does it fail? I'd have to double check. Restrained right here. It has disadvantage on dexterity checks. So it needs to make a dexterity check. I almost typed the roll into Twitch chat.
And everyone would know how many dice you're rolling.
Yes, so that's a 15 with disadvantage.
Ow.
What is the DC?
The DC is 13 for any of the creatures that are caught in that 5-foot light. So he's getting hit by it. So technically, wouldn't that be just a roll against his AC?
No, so he has to make a dexterity saving throw to avoid the
So he's got
line.
AC,
But he's
isn't
he's restrained, so it still can. So what happens is, as you throw it, it kind of like a tentacle kind of not on purposely like knocks it a little bit out of the way and kind of it doesn't get a direct hit on it. It still takes half the damage. So go ahead and roll 4d6 for me. Let's see. Hold on. There's more to this. I need to read my items that I give you.
Yeah.
Each creature in a line, excluding you and the target, make a DC dexterity save.
Yeah.
That's my bad. So yeah, it is an attack roll. So my bad. Go ahead and make an attack roll. It's technically still at disadvantage for you because it's still technically prone and restrained.
Okay. So let me just double check something then. One of my features. Right, attacking at long range still counts for sharpshooter. Shooper? Sharpshooter?
Shapoopa?
Sharpshooter?
Shapoopy.
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 Okay.
The woman that's hard to get.
Before you make an attack range weapon, you can take a minus 5. Okay, so it's at disadvantage. Okay, I'm not going to go for the -5 then, because I can't give myself advantage on this whatsoever. However, if I was above the creature, would it still have disadvantage? Because if we think about laterally...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, full god mode ascension.
Technically, I think technically it still would, but I probably would give you a bonus.
Okay.
Or it might be easier to hit, because like to me it makes sense if you're like almost get right above it.
Yeah. So
It's kind of one of those weird rules that's not. It doesn't D&D doesn't take into account.
Exactly, but because it's hard to hit things laying down when you're going to shoot like that. But if you're up here, then you're shooting down.
Right.
Diagrams. Okay, so what Kimura actually does then is she kind of bends her knees slightly and then launches up into the air using the boots. And as she's going up, the hand kind of runs along the javelin and pulls it up with her. And then when she gets to the apex, she basically yeets it down towards the center point with this like lightning.
Absolutely.
Looks like she's just shooting lightning from her hand with it.
Right. So you guys are going full Avengers right now. I will. So it's still technically a disadvantage, but I'm going to give you a +5 to your roll. I think that's probably a good balance there.
Awesome. Okay, so disadvantage, but against +5.
Yep.
Sweet. Now, also, there's another question here. Is javelin a dex or a strength-based weapon?
I believe it is
Dex.
It's a range attack?
I think all ranged are dex.
Perfect. Okay, that's fine. Whew,
I know, right?
Strength wouldn't have been good. Okay, so that would basically be a +7. I think. Yeah. +7. Yeah, +7. Sorry, I'm basically running a d20 +7. Cool. We got there, folks. We got there. and then I would have +5 to that, so 18. No, I've got to run the
18?
second. I've got to run the second because it's disadvantage.
Oh, right. Oh, damn, that
no,
would have been
it's more than that,
unfortunate.
20. Okay,
Yeah.
so it was 18. It's 18.
18 still hits with disadvantage. There comes. This has been happening all night.
It's been a day. It's been a day.
Yeah.
That weed, man. It's that weed. It has to be. Has to be.
So it does hit. So it takes the damage from the javelin plus 46 lightning damage. So what is the javelin damage?
1d6.
Does it? So 5d6 damage.
Okay, so does that also include my mod as well for the javelin?
Yeah. So it'd be 1d6 plus your. So roll it like this. Roll 1d6 plus your dex plus 4d6. So I can differentiate the damage because it does take it into account.
Cool. Okay. 1d6 plus 5. 9.
So 9. Okay.
And then 4d6 for the lightning. Oh, 2 max dice in there.
Okay.
17.
So as the lightning, you pierce it, and it pierces into this thing, and it lets out this blood-curdling screech that rings in your ears for much too long. The lightning courses through its body, but it almost seems to dissipate rather quickly. It doesn't seem like the lightning did nearly as much damage as you would have thought.
Oh no. Okay. And then as the end of my turn happens, any movement she has left after going up, when she kind of throws that lightning down, she moves back as it happens as well. So I've used a bit of up movement, a bit of back movement, and then towards the end of the turn she goes to reach for her sidearm, and then that's the turn. Yeah.
All right.
Good job, Kimura.
It is the Kyrogen's turn. These guys need to repeat the saving throws to see if they aren't scared anymore. That's a fail. So that guy's turn is not good. That is a fail. That guy is not good. I think this guy survived, but he's not doing good. This is terrible. And then I'll just do the next one as well. They both fail. These poor guys, man. These poor doctors. They just want to help. One of them starts freaking out. He can actually still technically make an attack. The other one, though... drops his dagger, and there's like... So there's... You're kind of like on a... Like, there's cobblestone and dirt and whatnot. All of a sudden, this Kyrogen rips off his mask. And you can see... He looks to be elvish, and he just starts grabbing at anything on the ground, like rocks and whatnot, starts shoving them in his mouth.
I've had that madness before.
Yeah. So that's that. That's what happens. One of the Kyrogen can technically still make one of the Kyrogen can still technically make an attack, which that's a miss, so it doesn't even fucking matter. Wisp, it's your turn.
Okay, I'm just going to stay where I am, 20 feet away, and watch the madness unfold, because I'm not gonna run up to that. I don't want to run up to that.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold an action. If it gets close enough to me, I'm just gonna pop.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold.
I guess the madness only actually lasts for a minute, not the full time, as according to this. That's fine. At the end of your turn...
I'm still mumbling, though.
Yeah, at the end of your turn, you can repeat the saving throw to get rid of that. It's a wisdom saving throw.
I'll see if I can make it. No. I'm still mumbling like an idiot.
Still mumbling. Okay. But you're kind of hanging out.
Cool.
Trying to figure it out. It is the Kyrogen leader's turn. Let me roll a wisdom saving throw for him. He he is going to cast Inflict Wounds on this creature. So, oops. Which is a melee spell attack, so he's right there. On a hit, so what is his? It's a +3. So let me just roll a d20 +3 really quick. That misses. So screw that guy, I guess. It's Calder's turn. Let's see if Calder can do anything. He's gonna try to take a shot. He's freaking the fuck out. But he rolls a 16, which does hit.
Yeah.
So he does 9 damage plus his hex damage, which I believe is a d6. And he rolls a max damage for that.
Eldritch Blade.
So that is how much? What kind of damage is hex? Necrotic.
Yeah.
So that it is 15 points of damage. So you see this green energy form around Calder's hands, where he's kind of grasping his pendant, and he slings it through, and it hits the this thing, and all of a sudden just kind of like shudders. It's still like shaking. It's still like restrained. It hasn't been able to get out yet. Vodder, it is your turn.
Vodder just holds that moonbeam exactly where it is, sort of producing this silvery cylinder of light down through the top of the tent.
Okay. And so you're just maintaining concentration.
Yeah, I'm just maintaining
right?
concentration. I'm not going to cast another spell. That thing's doing its work, so I'm going to keep it right there on top of this creature.
Perfect. So at the start of its turn, it needs to make a...
On the start of its turn, it needs to make a... What did I say last time? I forget. It is a Constitution save.
Constitution save.
Yeah.
That's a 16.
16 succeeds, so it only takes half damage.
Okay.
So there's 7 again, so 3 points of damage.
3 points of damage. Okay. It all of a sudden you hear. Let's see if it can. It's going to use one of its actions to try to break out of the restraints, which it does. All of a sudden you hear as ropes, and it stands up and is going to. Let's see. So that's one of its actions. It's gonna make. All of a sudden, you see a bolt of eldritch energy go arcing straight up towards Kimura. Kimura, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
What?
As you see some of this lightning damage that it took in starts arcing in your direction.
Oh my god. Oh no. Okay. Natural 20, 25.
Okay.
Turns out I'm pretty good in the air, apparently. I'm like,
Yep.
I'm like a bird.
Blue angels up there.
Shooting
Dancing in the
lightning,
sky.
dodging. I'm a Valkyrie now.
Uh-huh.
Did you say Blue Angel?
Yeah, a bunch of flying
So,
airplanes. Never mind.
You take
Red arrows. Red arrows.
you take 7 points of lightning damage, and what would it be? 8 points, or it'd be 15. So 6 points of force damage as you get knocked backwards as this eldritch energy comes flying. So it's half of that because you failed past the save, so 15 damage.
So
If you have it, it's 15 damage. Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's going to make 2 more attacks on 2 of the Kyrie. And it's going to try to bite this guy, which he succeeds.
Nom, nom, nom.
All of a sudden, you see it bite into one of the Kyrages' necks and tear out some gore. And it almost bites cleanly through, and the Kyrogen crumples on the ground. And then it will make a second claw attack on the other one. which will also hit. Which will also, all of a sudden, it tears into the stomach, and you see whatever bowels and blood come coursing through and collapses to the ground. That is its turn, though. Knock, you are up.
Right, wisdom save to get the hell up out of this stun, I guess. Is that what I need to make?
So it'll be, at the end of your turn
Okay.
that you make it. So
I can't move.
you can't
or-
move right now,
Right,
so
I'm going to contemplate this stunning, and then I'm gonna try to roll a wisdom save to get out of it.
all right, go ahead and roll a wisdom saving throw. Unfortunately, you're not able to shake it. You can't move no matter how much you want to. You just can't force yourself to get closer to this thing.
So it's so frustrating. You can see like the anger on him as he sees the javelin go in there and whatnot. And he's just like, just getting all glory.
Nock finally understands what Wisp was talking about with the internal battles. The wars inside yourself.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Hmm.
All right. Kimura, it is your turn. This thing, you can finally see it standing up through the tear in the tent as this arc came through, and as you rip through the javelin through the tent, it's nasty. There's blood, multiple wounds from where it's been stabbed. You can see like just ichor just kind of coursing down. It doesn't look good. I mean, it doesn't look good in general, but it doesn't look good as well. It's kind of struggling to. You can see it's kind of limping and like hunching over as it tries to keep going forward. What do you do?
Does it look like it's moving towards the party?
Not right now. It looks like it's pretty busy with the Kyrogen.
What I'm gonna do is standing up now, yeah?
It's standing up now. Yep.
After Kimura gets hit, she almost gets forced, because of the force damage, she gets thrown right off kilter, and she almost does kind of like a backwards, like a somersault, and then maybe just she kind of throws her arms back and stabilizes midair. Then as her hand comes back past, she pulls the sidearm out, lines it up, and basically, really focusing, but as she brings it round, she basically double fires it towards the thing. What do we even call it?
Okay.
Necromorph, Dad.
So
Yeah.
doing that, I literally just expended 2 out of 3 of my grit points and my action surge.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll however many attacks you're doing. I don't fucking know.
It's 2 attacks at advantage, and I'm gonna use both the sharpshooter things, so -5 penalty.
Okay.
Okay, now ask a cheeky question. Do I still have that +5, or is it gone?
The +5 is technically gone.
Okay.
Because I was given that as a bonus for being above it while it's prone.
Okay. Right. So, we're gonna run the pistol at advantage and roll with the -5. Okay. So, 15.
15 does hit.
Okay. And then I'm gonna roll the second attack first, and I'll do the damages after.
Okay.
Okay. And this is the -5 again. Cool. We got a nat 20.
Oh my god.
So
That'll work.
we're gonna run the nat 20 damage as well. So okay. So we've got to add a
Well done.
2d10 plus. So 20 plus whatever this roll is.
And then your crit damage is max.
So yes, it was like so the max was so crit max is basically 2d10, no, 1d10. No. 10 plus 10 plus 5, 25 for my first attack. Math.
Wait, 25 for the first?
Yeah, because I rolled a 10.
Oh my god.
And then. Oh no, hang on. No. Got that wrong. I'm sorry. Crit damage is 10. Then I rolled another 10. And then I've got my +10 from sharpshooter, so 30 from the first attack. And then. And then. 13 from the second. So 43 from my 2 shots, please.
Or how do you destroy this thing?
I like
And-
guns.
Yeah, it's my girl.
Oh my god.
Knock is gonna be so jealous.
Okay, so
It's like 43 damage.
Can I record this a little bit from the start from Kimura's perspective, please?
Please do.
Okay, so it's literally shift rifle off, flip it round, fire, flip it back round, launch yourself up into air with javelin, lightning it down, pull back, get knocked back, do a backward somersault, pull pistol, fire twice. Yes. And basically, as the bullets go through, you just two massive chunks just get taken straight out. Just after like straight through, just bang bang, and then the thing just literally like it started moving and it just kind of went like just fell and just like knocks back into the tent. The tent just collapses.
Yeah, this thing looks like it's about to charge, like almost like in a frenzy. All of a sudden, and all of a sudden, it's like just goes limp and just like falls back into the tent as you look and see the mess that has been left behind this thing. This tent is torn, and the light in it has almost is just kind of casting eerie shadows. You can see blood just splattered against this tent, and as what remaining Kyrogen get back to their feet and stave off whatever madness, as you guys regain your consciousness and look at this thing that's in front of you, that's where we're gonna end the session tonight.
Yo, we just kill really gruesome things all the time, and then we have to sit and look at them for a prolonged period of
You
time.
do.
before
I'm
we're
sorry.
able to comment.
I leave you guys staring at this stuff for like a
No,
week.
it's okay. I love it. It's on brand. It's on brand.
It's on brand. Well, thank you everybody so much for hanging out. We went a little bit over, but a little bit of an unexpected combat. But that's what happens when we go in different directions and whatnot, and I love it. So let's just go around and let everybody know where we can find you and what you're up to in the future. Justin, let's start with you.
Sweet. My name is Doc Rimbo. I'm Doc Rimbo here at twitch.tv/Doc Rimbo. I'm Doc Rimbo on Twitter. I'm Doc Rimbo in the Infinite Roleplay Discord channel, which you should join, and all over the place. And yeah, I've started looking forward to Thursday nights every week, and just it's a whole lot of fun. I think my favorite moment of tonight was when Wisp was Nock's hype man, basically, and just Nock was sort of trying to intimidate people, and the Wisp was like, "Yes, that's correct." Yeah, that was a highlight for me. But yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
So good.
Love having you. Isla, where can we find you? What are you up to?
Sup, I'm Isla. Nice to meet you. You can.
So, dude.
Sup, yeah, okay. You can find me here, where I blast holes in monsters and look cool doing it. You can. Well, Derek, I saw that face. You know it's true, right? How? I just need the desk. Yeah, you can find me here on Thursdays doing this cool shit. And you can also find me on my own channel now, where I've started streaming again. Yay! No set schedule, but I am playing Wild RP and crying a lot. So if you want to come hear me method act, I'm not actually acting, I'm just genuinely crying, then come over to my channel, Phoenix Over. Also at Phoenix Over on Twitter. Just at Phoenix Over. The username's not taken anywhere. It's so easy. Just Phoenix Over. And I also stream a bit of Overwatch as well. So if you like watching me hack people and be the most annoying player on the planet, please come join me. I'm a shitlord. Yeah.
Born and raised.
Oh my god. All right, Derek, where can we find you? What are you up to?
Ooh, you can find me at a top Derek Mountain, a mountain with a Derek atop it, where I play video games, do geek shit and stuff. Upon this mountain on Twitch, I like to go ahead and play a variety of games. Been stuck on Mech Assault, been doing RP as of late in main concentration. Hoping to get back in the swing of things as soon as I get my mustache-wearing salesman aristocratic ass out of prison. It'll be fantastic. Overall, can't wait to get back into society and see how the hoi polloi think of Walter Cross.
Oh god, that word, that phrase, we love it. Oh man. All right, Ray, where can we find you? What are you up to?
Oh, hey, I'm Ray, or with a brick, everywhere on the interwebs. So yeah, follow me. I will be getting back to streaming very soon. I'm gonna be doing some fun stuff. And yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us and watching us do rad shit. It's always a blast.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
And I am Cole Lacuna RP. You can find me at Lacuna RP on Twitch, Twitter, and stuff. I've been streaming. I streamed a couple times. I've been streaming some Wild RP.
You
Getting back into it just a little bit. But on Tuesdays, you can find me right here on Infinite RP with Behind the Screen, which is the GM prep for this campaign at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you're interested in seeing the behind the scenes of all the stuff that I plan and doesn't happen, well, then you can come hang out and enjoy. We have stuff to plan, stuff that will happen hopefully next week. So make sure to come and tune in if you like that. But we appreciate you guys hanging out so much. Love y'all's faces. If you guys are I don't know. I was gonna say hang out after the credits. We're gonna raid Gooch. He's playing some D&D as well. So give him and his party and all those people some love. Make sure to love yourselves and make sure to have a great week. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.